Hey, all right. Thank you everybody for showing up today. My name is Bruce, and with my friend with me is Kai Marion.
Hey there.
How you doing tonight, Kai?
I'm doing great, honestly.
Excellent, excellent. Was wanting to do some test runs. I just got a VPN, and so we're going to be hopefully compatible for any and all streams we do here. I don't want to have problems, so okay, VPN might be necessary. And then I was testing it earlier today, and I thought, well, the big test will be tonight with me and Kai. So here we are, and it looks like we're streaming. It looks like we've got everything going on.
I
Um,
don't mind.
have you been doing well?
Within reason.
Yeah, I mean, work notwithstanding, it's good to see you healthy, and looks like you've got about as good as it can get. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. It looks like, and I understand work is really burdensome sometimes. I know you also have changed venues here as of late to get more out of your home time because I know what it's like when you work for a big carrier company and home time is just one of those things the dispatcher laughs at you and you say, I'd like to have more of this.
I would like to. I would have more confident workers. Which one are you?
Yeah, yeah. I would like to be more confident in my job. I just need more time at it. That's all. I've been doing it for
Yeah.
30 years and I'm starting to delve into the realm of plumbing instead of being just a sump truck driver. So it'll be interesting as that goes on. We were discussing quite a bit of your rambling that you've had in my Discord, and I'd like to welcome everybody that's here today. We got Janet was in the chat earlier. Six Nation 31 Kings be popping in on a regular. Crafting Gamer just dropped me a file for the PDF for his playtest.
Yeah. I'm
So
gonna be reading that in a bit. Afterward, tomorrow morning probably when I wake up from a coma. So yeah, I'll be good.
if you happen to sleep through halfway through tomorrow, it's all good still.
Right. It's right.
Scrolling back through your musings, and holy crap, holy
I
cow!
gotta figure. I gotta figure out where we left off last week. That's what I'm stuck at.
I thought we were stuck in November of last year.
Oh no, we were still in October. We had really
October.
gotten a couple. Yeah, we were still in October. Oh God.
And the good thing is that other people are chiming in and echoing thoughts or giving you some brain giblets to chew on.
Yeah, I
That
don't mind
makes
that
me
at all because this week was kind of quiet on talking about things. So
don't get scared to talk to Kai about things, guys. He will be happy to discuss things at length with you. It's not
uh,
therapy. We're exploring some ideas.
uh, there's some therapy in there.
A little
I
bit.
mean, enough bad. I've had enough bad GM encounters. So I mean, trying to vocalize it all is kind of the fun part of it all.
They really
I
get upset whenever we complain about the sacred cow of Ravenloft.
did I
You
piss
know,
somebody? Did I piss people off with that?
apparently so.
I wonder why.
I'm not very favorable to Ravenloft as a sacred cow. I mean, it's an all right setting, but the way a lot of amateur GMs used it, it was their own personal um, walking simulator. Hey, LDG, how you doing, sir? There was really there was some like a ravenous few GMs I know that they loved it because they got a chance to play a gothic horror game, and the others completely mistook that and said, "No, this is story time. We're trying to make a game like the storyteller system," and they would have been better using a different tool for that. There's a tool for everything, and some things are lend themselves better than others. Uh, AD&D works really good for its limited work, but I wouldn't try to use it to tell gothic horror. I really wouldn't. Can you do it? Yes. Do you really want to when you have superior tools to use? You really shouldn't, in my opinion.
Fair enough. I mean, but sometimes, like I said, it's just it's use the right tools. It's just simply sometimes sometimes it is the story you want to tell with the game, and I think it's the ham-fisted nature of how it approached gothic horror was why I had my problems with it, to be honest.
Well,
And it's like because yeah, as Six Nations put it there, it has that kind of that Hammer Films fantasy feel to it. But the problem here is that it maybe it may be channeling the essence of Hammer Films, but it isn't. But it didn't get the spirit of it. It was too. I it it was a it was a bad mockery. Like it was almost a mockery of an imitation of something that was done better elsewhere. But but the thing is, yeah, oh, guys, it's hard to put to words where the idea is good, it's the execution is poor. There we go.
yeah, it's got a high concept. It's got a neat approach, but too many times, even the official adventures were like I didn't like the Gryphon House. I did like the original Ravenloft adventure module where you fought Dracula, but I didn't like Gryphon House. There was a werewolf one that we played that I've showcased before. I didn't think that was too good, but there's a lot of Ravenloft that came off very railroady, just like Six Nations says, and a lot of it seemed like it was cut and pasted for individual tables where they would railroad the hell out of theirs too. It just wasn't as fun as it could have been. Hey, Lady, how you doing, sir? Um,
It's I think also the problem there is that how most people like how we were a few weeks ago when we actually hit upon why we didn't like it is that it's not a campaign that you choose to play. It's one that most GMs ambush you with. I
yes,
guarantee you that if we had chose that, if someone says, "Hey, we're going to choose to play Ravenloft," everyone comes in and goes, "Okay, I'm going to play a Solomon Kane inspired character," which that mentality where if you play a Solomon Kane as character fits how you do that. If you all come into it going, okay, so I'm going to play an Inquisitor, I'm going to play a Witch Hunter, somebody else is going to go, okay, so I'm going to play somebody who manipulates the arcane arts, but I'm trying to do, or someone who wants to play a cleric, and they're like, that one lone light in the darkness, and we're all coming into this going with the idea that we're going for darkest dungeon levels of weird and we're going to go play Van Helsing, the RPG. That's great. The problem is that most of us are going into the game going, okay, so we're going to be, so we all came in playing Greyhawk or Forgotten Realms, or we're all playing Dragonlance, or we're playing some kind of stock fantasy, and then the bullshit rolls in. And then we're dropped into a forest where we have no frame of reference. No, I think this is that thing I was trying to hit on it a few weeks ago back. We were talking about multiple dimensions and stuff. Is that we've already bought into one world, and we already had to suspend our sense of disbelief long enough to get one world going, to get into character for one world, and now you've shifted our frame of reference, and now we had to do double, like almost Inception levels of okay, so my character is so I am not me. I am my frame of reference of my character who is from Toril, or I'm from Waterdeep, and suddenly I'm now stuck in another place that I have no idea what's going on. And already, since most players don't have a clue what's going on in Forgotten Realms, because again, the realms are huge, and God knows nobody has a clue where anything is, including the people who fucking run it. I It's because like I ran into that problem when I had a GM just recently who wanted to run Forgotten Realms, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah, where are we at? Sword Coast. Okay, I know exactly where we are. The problem was with the GM. had no idea what the layout of the Sword Coast is. And I'm like, okay, so we're gonna, and like, no. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. What do you mean, no? And like, we're fucking on this, like, Baldur's Gate is over. I can literally see the spires over there, motherfucker, and it's not burning yet. So we're not in one of the games. And it's like, no, it's totally okay, fuck, okay, suspension of disbelief, suspension of knowledge, okay. And now when you roll in and say, and now you're now in some dark evil forest, and you hear the howl of a wolf, and it's so, and you can just feel evil permeate through the air around you, and now we gotta fucking suspend. Now we're double layered into trying to project how we're gonna play the game into itself, and it becomes really difficult. And especially, and then when you just ham fist the cliches super double hard, and like, where are we? You don't know. Can I ask anyone? No one wants to talk to you. You're an outsider. Because if you're playing that game, of course you're an outsider. No one's going to trust you because everyone's afraid that you might be Discount Dan Dracula's minion, or you might be a werewolf or a witch or something horrible, or a necromancer or something terrible.
I'm in Belmontville.
Right. And everyone's going to go, I don't want to talk to you because if I do, you might curse me. And here you are walking in going, I am an elf from the ever glowing islands of joy and happiness. And everyone goes, oh God, what's wrong with you? And they get a paladin. Oh, good citizen. Oh my fucking God. You're a beacon of light and goodness. You're going to die in about 2.5 seconds. And now, could you just tell me where I can buy some food and where I am? It's bad. It's bad. And this is why it's cool, but it's not at the same time, because the execution is miserable. Again, I might as well just have the picture I can hold up and just say, where did the bad GM touch you? And I'll just be able to go Ravenloft. I agree. I've had now 5 different GMs try to run Ravenloft, and they've all been miserable. And to somebody who's a Hammer Films lover, going, God, like, here we are, Hammer Films, or the Monsterverse, going, what? Can we just get to the point where we are fighting Frankenstein's monster and have Dracula in the background orchestrating the werewolves, and the mummy who just shows up because he's confused, and then the thing from the Black Lagoon just comes out of the water and goes, hey buds, and we're like, yeah, come on, we're already playing Discount Dan Mortal Darkness, but we're all playing humans. Fuck, this sucks.
The last time we talked about conversations between individuals, like on sci-fi, it's typically assumed that it's instantaneous, and in fantasy campaigns, sending the messenger takes weeks, right? We talked about lag last time, didn't we?
I think we touched on lag. Somewhere we touched on lag. Yeah. I know I've touched on lag enough times on things.
Yeah. I'm just going through the Discord here, and that was on the 11th of October.
Okay. Okay. I'm moving forward. I want to catch up to where you are on...
Because you're like, when to dial back my need for authenticity and have fun, till somebody else gets annoying with details, either calling me on something or making an odd call. I stay calm and polite during a game to a point. I won't say I'm perfect or know everything, but I kind of freak out when the things don't make sense. And it's kind of like whenever, you're expecting to have to wait 6 weeks or so for a message to get round tripped back with a response.
Yeah.
And like that conflicts with the speed of plot. That's something you really hate. That's something I really hate. It's just one of those things that a lot of GMs don't take that into effect, and they have a hard time telling their players, well, like 4 weeks go by. What? Nothing happens in 4 weeks? I've been on assignment before, and 4 weeks does go by pretty fast in the interim, but when you look back on it, yeah, it does. But during those 4 weeks, it's murderously long, and you have watches, you have maintenance you got to do, you have to do all these other things. And if you're stuck at a hotel, an inn, or whatever, or at a campsite, you don't have much to do.
Yeah. And the thing is that it. I think it's because I'm used to the idea of running with the idea of when I work with this, I tend to go with oh God, how's this table time is table time takes precedent, but I also always look at the idea that we are only playing for once a week. We're all in the same room once a week, or once every 2 weeks, for
Mhm.
for 6 to 8 hours. We're going to get adventure time in now. Party interaction time now. Everyone keep track. Whenever I say you get 4 weeks of downtime, it's like 4 weeks has passed. Just fucking go with it, and then write down on a note card or somewhere else saying how much time has passed in session, and for the next 6 7 days after the game until next session, you can the only rule is you can't change what's already happened. So whatever's happened at the table, you can't change that. That's locked in stone. You can't do shit there. But you're able to backfill in and say, no, my character would have gone to the whorehouse, made some friends, gone on a date, gone and done my shopping, paid my bills, done a side job, and do everything that you want to do. Work on your plans, your crafting. I jerk off for 4 weeks. I don't give a shit what you do. I mean, and I had some players who are like, "What do you do for 4 weeks?" He goes, I'm blowing about $1,000 at the whorehouse for 4 weeks." And I'm like, "You okay, man? You're gonna." It's like, so you blowing 1,000 gold at the whorehouse? Yep, for 4 weeks. 4 weeks, just I'm happy. And I'm like, you probably had some money left over. He goes, "Nope, I'm paying the cleric to be cleaned of disease every day." And I'm like, you at least got a plan. And he was playing a fun character. I can't fault him for doing that shit. and but he was doing that actually as a not as a project, but as a counterpoint to his other player who was at the table, and he had his debt whatever time that passed micromanaged down to the last second almost. And it's like, and so he's listening, like player A, who's the whorehouse guy, is listening to player B, and player B is like, "Okay, I got it all taken care of." And player A is like, going, "Yeah, I'm just fucking and drinking. That's all I'm doing." And I'm like, "God, you're a gem. I'm just gonna keep you in a nice little box of happiness over here. We break you out when it comes time to kill something." He's like, "Yeah, but unlike everybody else, I'm happy." And we're like, "God damn it!"
Yeah, and the thing is that like you could be on an assignment where like the players are supposed to watch over a gate or some sort of dark old fortress or something,
Yeah,
and like you're not supposed to go in there, but you're supposed to observe anything and document. And play ones like throw someone else in there's monster squad. And I've got about 7 ideas for an adventure or campaign just off those two right there. I mean, you remember the old movie The Gate, don't you?
yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that, and I probably shouldn't, but that's the movie that immediately came up to mind. And they're talking about how they were upside, kind of surprised that the Dark Universal series didn't kick off. And I think in about a generation, we're going to see that actually come to fruition because we haven't had a good monster movie really take hold and like go forward. Like monster films, horror movies have just been falling flat for a few years. I think the last one I watched was A Quiet Place 2. And it was okay. It wasn't as good as the first.
I think it's because of the fact that horror has to I play off of certain kinds of fears, and what I I almost want to say there's a lot of us who have just gotten to the point where what the fuck scares you these days? What the fuck scares most of the people who are just jaded as fuck? I mean, I personally don't. I'm not like I'm a psychological horror fan, So I'm terrible with jump scares. I hate jump scares. But boy, do I like a suspense-filled horror movie. That's the kind of one, the ones that get me happy and excited. Like, this is a good one. But for most people, it's like I think one of those jokes of we live in a world where we're literally, oh God, Rob Zombie making a Snow White movie. That would be brutal and bloody. I would love that.
That'd be better than what they got right now on trending.
Fuck, yes, it is.
Did you see they've got dark brown, snow brown, and her 7 varying height companions of diversity?
Yes, that was terrible. That's terrible. This is the one character you shouldn't race. I erase Bend, for God's sake. The name is Snow White. Fuck.
Yeah, that's my purview on it. Like, this is Snow White. It's in her name. You can fuck up. You can fuck up the Little Mermaid, but I'm not going to be upset about that. You can fuck up Cinderella, but Snow White.
Yeah, her book description is literally a vampire. For God's sake.
She is the original big titty goth girlfriend we all wanted to find out in the middle of the forest and kiss, and then we have our happy ever after.
And she lives with her 7 whacked out weirdo friends. But I guarantee you, though, if it was a Rob Zombie movie, the budget would be about 14 cents, and it would be horrible, horribly decorated, but it would be good.
Cute chick singing in the prom of the voice the Pickles in the Rugrats. Yeah, I saw that. The Better Off Dead All Day. Yeah. Have you listened to any new music here lately, Kai? I saw you threw a new music in there.
I have random weird shit that comes up on Spotify periodically when they go, "Hey, we know you've been listening to the same music for the last 3 weeks. You want to listen to something new?" And I'm like, I don't know. I have a playlist that can run for a week without hearing the same song twice. Sure, give me more music. And so I get weird random shit. Let's see, what's my most recent? Some of my most recent liked songs. Yeah, there's some weird shit on my playlist on Spotify. So
the new one coming out from Gunship looks really good. Their video that debuted with it's all Cyberpunk 2077.
Gunship.
Yeah, the video looks really good. Gunship's new video is just fucking great. They threw some money at it, and it looks really well done. I'm not even upset, bro. It's Gunship for one. 2, Dave Lombardo does the drums for it. The guy that was with the 2014 Mad Max movie, the roided out saxophone player, he's in this.
All right.
Yeah, I forget what else he did. He did songs with Tina Turner. He was that muscle bound bodybuilder that plays a saxophone, and he's like 72 now. Literally the guy that should be selling big dick and muscle pills on late night cable TV, and this guy's still got gigs. I love it. He's a very talented man, very humble guy too. Talking about the lady.
Sounds interesting. I'll have to look for it just to listen to more of this stuff, because honestly, at this point, when I get to drive it, when I get to drive anymore, it's because somebody fucked up, and I just turn on random playlist and just run. So
having a long playlist availability is fantastic.
Yeah. Let's see, it's currently 783 songs long, so
that's a chunk. A Snow White movie directed by Rob Zombie, I know I'd watch it. I don't know how successful it would be. If I typically like something, it's going to get savaged by critics, and most audiences won't even like it. That's my fault. I like things that most people don't. A Black Tarzan, no. Oh, Hollywood goes so broke, I can afford to buy the Rift screenplay and prevent them from ruining it. I'd rather you spend $14 million on it and have a team of small spec effects artists that could green screen it and do it the justice it deserves, because 14 mil was what they used for Sound of Freedom. And if you want to do a jungle adventure for Rifts, I think that'd be probably the easiest way to do it. Put it in South America.
Yeah.
Metalcore. Yeah, I've been listening to some metalcore stuff. The Rings of Power actors are on strike. They didn't work during Rings of Power. What are you talking about?
I know, right?
Russian and Serbian. Okay. Thank you, chatters.
But no, I mean, I guess getting back to that speed of plot thing, circle back to that speed of plot thing is really just simply, I kind of like the idea. Like, I think this is why I'm really big on maps being accurate and movement being important, and even teleport having being a thing. But it's got to have a point to it. Is
I
that,
think teleport should have limitations on it more than what it already has.
dear God, yes. In fact, I've gone so far as I I hate to I hate I have not limited teleport in my campaign world, but my players have done it. My players have done it to themselves, where they got so sick of me using teleport, because whatever the players do, I think NPCs should do it too. So if my players started to bounce around the world to teleport gates and other things, my bad guys should do it too, and my major NPC should do it. And my players started realizing that this was a terrible, terrible thing, that when the bad guy is as versatile and fast as you are. So they actually orchestrated the destruction of teleport. But they still wanted to have it, so they literally ruined it in a way that was interesting. And so their way of destroying it was through the wish spell. Thank God, I love wish and miracle. It's the way it's the way to destroy the world with a word.
I the way to destroy the world was to give your player Greg a couple of extra planar storage facilities and let him just go at it.
Yeah. But the thing here is that how my players did it was they wiped they through multiple iterations and refinement and multiple cataclysms broke the world. I broke teleport down to the point now where it works. Line of sight, it works as intended. So as a get out of hell free button, it works. But the moment you go out of line of sight, it doesn't matter if you know where you're going. Problems start to, like, the chance of dying gets more and more and more possible. So the chance of misjumping becomes catastrophically bad. But they got around it by pretty much creating by using the spell dimensional, the dimensional anchor spell, and then a variant of that, and pretty much created like teleport beacons that ended up costing, when we did all the math out, was about 25,000 gold a pop. And so you could teleport into the area. So when you set your teleport destination, if it's close to one of the beacon will grab it and then dimensionally anchor you to the and pull you into the to the gem's radius, and then drop you off in a chamber. So it allows them to have an emergency recall button, but you can't go back to where you came from.
Were you using Rings of or Series of Power?
This was Series of Power pretty much was how we retroactively made it work even better, because the original version was very chaotic. And then players got that and then refined it and said, "This is cool." And then we used that and a bit more from I forgot which book of Forgotten Realms' magic that had teleport gates in it, but we pulled that into it and pulled something else, and it hybrided out, and eventually it came to so like Blink still works, but short range. Teleport is dangerous, but unless you're going to a city that has a gate, that a gem, it made it so the fact that my monsters couldn't teleport very easily, but they couldn't teleport very easily. So they had the way to go, oh fuck, we're about to die, we're escaping, but they lose the ability to do, but they lost the ability to do scry and die because they wanted to take scry and die away from me as the GM because I got tired of them scry and dying, and so I'm like, well, guess what? The bad guy also can do it too. You know that, right? And then suddenly when you drop an elite strike team on top of the players still won because dice rolls and they're actually good players and they know what they're doing. They survived it, but it hurt. It hurt bad, and like most of them were mauled and had bad lost lots of resources. So it was an encounter that forced them to have to go. Having the ability to teleport around the world whenever we want, to go wherever we want, probably bad idea. And I'm like, yeah, bad idea. Our GMs put a lot of effort into trains, planes, and automobiles. Maybe we should take the trains, planes, and automobiles around. I'm like, yeah, maybe you should. And suddenly they went, 30 miles an hour isn't that slow? And I'm like, yeah, 30 miles an hour is not slow. It seems slow, from us who are playing in the modern day and we're just having fun. What these headphones? Oh yeah, no, I like these old ones. They work really well.
I prefer the older style or the USB variety of those. I'm gonna have to get a pair from Office Max because I don't have earbuds that have a cord long enough.
Yeah,
Anyway,
well, but these work. These work really well, and they're technically they're wireless, so I can just pull it off and go walk off somewhere else for a while to about halfway across the house, but that's enough to go get a drink and come back and still hear the conversation. But I've lost the microphone a long time ago, so.
I like the idea of what you're doing there because the original version of teleport, which is what we've had since like second ed, gives you if you're intimately familiar with it, you can just automatically teleport there with up to so many people that you're contacting up to your level to this set location, can't go off plane, you're stuck here. But if you don't know it so well, then you get the roll of the die.
Yeah.
And last game, my players rolled like a 77.
Oh yeah.
They're going to be doing that a lot. They're going to have to roll a lot of die because like where they're at is a bunch of lava tubes inside an older, not so dormant volcano.
Yes.
And so they're going to be bouncing around. Got to figure out where they're teleporting into. Or I told them it'd be smarter if you would just accept your fate, set a mark somewhere. That way you have a locking location, and then you could recall there. And they don't understand that yet. So I don't think I have players that have done a lot of wizard play.
I don't think the thing is that teleport's one of those things where if you're not used to it, you're not really comprehending what it can do on the scale it can do. Yes. I mean, because the thing here is that look at it. It's like so it's what was it 100 miles per level that you can teleport?
Yep.
Right. Yeah. It's been a minute since I looked at it, at an unfucked up version of it or played in an unfucked up version of teleport. But and forgot what the fuck level do you get? Do you get teleport at again?
You can get up to 9th if your GM likes you.
I know, but so at 9th level, so at 9th character level you get it, right?
Yeah.
So that's 900 miles. When I tried to explain how far 900 miles is to somebody to people, it's their eyes glaze over. Unless you've done a lot of over the road trucking or you've done a lot of I drive everywhere vacations. 900 miles is a really hard to comprehend moment for people. I I'm sitting in Peoria, and I'm trying to go to where I used to go to school at in Chicago was 185 miles one way. That's you barely touched what teleport can do at that point. I mean, like traveling from here to Schaumburg is I'm going to go take the jetliner to go get some eggs and then come back. I mean, it's like I want to I'm like teleport is like when you first get it, you're literally going, okay, so I want to travel from Central Illinois to almost the East Coast in 2 seconds, right?
Nope, not possible.
Yeah.
Here's what you get. I believe this is at the Texas border or shortly thereabouts. This is at Louisiana, Texas.
Yeah.
A fresh caster, 9th level, given a gift of travel, he can take you across the state of Texas.
Yep, and that's one of his 2 spells. And if he does it a second time tomorrow, he can take it further or take it back.
Yeah, and that's really not a bad thing.
Yeah.
What's the cost of teleport?
What?
Hold on.
Time.
Yeah.
Time.
In the game, if I remember right, it doesn't take that god awful long to cast. It should.
No. Casting is 6 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. Casting time is a standard action.
Bloop. Less than 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Thump.
That's a really good frequency of time there.
Yeah, and the thing is, you're stealing you and 3 of your best buddies go on a road trip, and flump. And the thing here is that using Texas as a frame of reference, I almost want to say that's actually what you shouldn't be using. You should just look like because remember you're playing in a world where nobody teleports and kingdoms are about 30 to 90 miles wide. You're traveling multiple kingdoms in a day, multiple empires in a day.
Yeah.
Or north, here we are in Florence, and I need to go down to Milan. Blump. Oh, I could just I could take a horse there and be there, or I need to go all the way to Sicily. Done. And then if you got a second spell slot, boom, you're back. And hey, I got some nice pizza, fresh from the oven. From where? I know a guy in Sicily who makes a really good pizza. What the fuck? It's free, man. It's free. I mean, and that's literally the kind of weird ass shit I've seen my players do at high level. They're like when we get about 12th, 13th level, where your ranges are now like it's not 900 miles anymore. It's now 1,300, and one person goes, so yeah, I'm gonna go. Here we are in the cold misery of wherever the hell we are, and then going, you know what? I'm gonna go blink down for some hot chocolate down in Switzerland. Anyone want anything as I go down there? Fuck it, we'll all go because your 15th level. You're now taking you and your entire party of 6 friends. You and your 5 buddies are all taking a trip down because you know what? This adventure kind of sucks. I want a nice bed and some beer. Okay, mark a rock. We'll be back in the morning. Boom. And suddenly they're all having a nice time. And what are you going to do as a GM? The Goblin Horde who's now going, why is nobody here? Hello? We were here to ambush you. Have a fight. Yeah. And your party's going, we're sleeping off a hangover in the morning going, oh man, that was really good. Thanks, Wizard. Thanks, Mr. Wizard. No problem. All right. Everyone throw some money at him for some scrolls so So you make sure that we always have a warm bed. No problem, bud. And they all teleport themselves back to back there. And you're like, man, we are now we are now with the same logic of say late series Wheel of Game of Thrones or Rings of Power transportation grid. Man, I'm dying. I'm dying. Please help me. I'm poisoned. It'll take us at least 4 days. Boom, boom. No, we're here now. Fuck. This is supposed to be a really intense survival scene. And no, man. There was 3 flashes of light, and now we're at the doctor's. Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, Med Mage, could you patch him up? Sure thing. Okay, I removed the poison, toxins, and everything else. I've also regrown your limb and ruined your scars. Here's a new arm, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine and dandy in the morning. Oh, um, thanks. Yeah. Could you try to not kill yourself in the next 24 hours before I get my spells back? Yeah, I think I can handle that. No, cool. See you in about 3 days. Yeah, see you in 3 days. Here's my bill. Cool. And that's honestly how it degenerates if you start having players who know what they're doing with teleport and doing it more than we're just teleporting to one place to do a shopping trip. And I had,
No, I'm gonna have to. I think I'm gonna have to do some sort of fix because I forgot about that. Every 3 levels, you can take another character. I thought it was just another per level. Oh shit! Well, I guess we need to amend this before we start next game, and that I will. That way, the wizards in our party are cohorts. They're not even real characters. They have to have a supply of teleport spells.
Yeah.
Scrolls,
Yeah. And my players would happily throw because I'm used to my groups. I don't see this happening in most other groups, but my groups always have when they do treasures and shares, we always have a share for each player, and then a extra share, which is the party fund share.
Mm-hmm.
And the party fund is always referred to as the resurrection fund, or the fund of it's the pirate retirement fund. Is what it really is. But it's also where when everybody's rich, we're all rich, we've all bought stupid shit, and then somebody's and then I or some other GM kind of goes disintegrate, and we go, man, we need him back, and we just go raid the fund and the slush fund, pull out the resurrection money, and then throw the resurrection money at the problem, and it's GMs always I love the moment when GMs forget that that I and another player are borderline accountants in terms of how we can slush have money since I everyone in the party's broke. I can fuck with the party now, and then we're like you've forgotten we are a hedge fund. Boom, and the GM. What are you going to do? We're going to solve the problem by throwing money at it until the problem goes away. But
that's really what I want at my table is I for my own game I like it when I have players that can do the financial quote unquote trickery portion of it where they can actually be accountants and hide funds. They can create wealth. They can create a small business or an umbrella fund. I like that because as GM, it's in my purview to throw obstacles at the party, and a lot of times it does involve financial costs to go around these things, keep the party hungry. I don't want my party to be starving. I don't want them to be like in Max's groups where he's happy if you're grinding pine needles, bits of soil and grass with a little bit of water from your canteen and expecting to eat that. I want you to have real food, not great tasting food, because then you'll get fat and you'll be like, I don't need to be an adventure anymore. No.
Now, the thing here is that the reason why I am such a complete and total miserly dick when it comes to money is because I've played in a lot of max style games where we have had to scrounge for every dime, and that's where I've mastered the the art of strategically of stealing everything and then fencing it all in immense amounts. And yes, I have I have had the problem here is that the players who are the accountant players who have the ledgers, and yes, at one point in time before we all had Excel spreadsheets and on our phones that we could just pull up and have the our entire budget on a digital device, and we make sure we update it and send it out to players to the rest of the group with every session. We used to actually maintain a ledger, like actual real ledgers that had everything written in it. And these are beautiful books because we had everything accounted for. We knew that okay, we have $10,000 invested over here in this merchant convoy. It has a percent chance of being ambushed, and and it was this one point where this poor GM thought he was going to fuck with us, because we're like, okay, we're investing in some businesses, in some merchant caravans, and we're gonna this is how we're going to grow the slush fund. While we're out adventuring and being heroes, our money is making money, because money that's just sitting in a chest is not doing anything for you. We have to make more money so we can continue to fight, and and if we get rich enough that we don't have to ask for a king's ransom as a payment from the king, like, you have saved the kingdom, what do you want? I'm actually pretty financially stable. You can just pay me in favors or some land or some minor assets. I have my eyes on this one chunk of mountain range over here because it sounds it's of good mineral value. I'm looking forward to that. And then the king's like, oh, well, okay. Because you're not coming in here and going, yeah, I need a +5 sword and 25,000 gold pieces. And I know it's approximately 1/4 of your kingdom's actual budget, which now if you adjust for Kingmaker will, the party needs about 400,000 gold as a payment for doing this, because the king, that's a significant chunk of my national income. We know you're good for it. What do you mean? Well, actually, our accountant players over here, the two of us wave in the background. Yeah, we noticed that you've been collecting taxes, but you haven't been improving your roads or building up your defenses or working up on on any of your economic or political power. So obviously you're getting taxes every month and you're not spending it. So it's in your what have you been it's funny when you start auditing your GM, and when your GM what do you mean? Technically, where have you been embezzling all the money for the kingdom's funds? I've been doing important things over here, and no, currently you're missing about 1.5 million gold pieces unaccounted for. Could you please cough it up now? Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, we've already proven that we're stronger than your army and your police forces. We are your secret police and your defense and your intelligence group. So, cough up the money so we can fix things, or start actually. And it's funny when players start to actually do the accounting and go, something ain't right here, and the GM, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you see the bridge. The bridge hasn't been repaired. It needs replacing and upgrading. The roads are just terrible. Have you walked on your own roads? They're just dirt paths. They're roads? No, they're not. Not by DOT standards. When your players start walking in and be the auditor generals, and I know I'm that kind of a dick though. So taxation is theft. But we're playing a role playing game. Thieves is a class, and I will happily steal from everybody in a role playing game. And if I had to send the brute squad in to go collect taxes, you better believe I'm sending the brute squad in. And yep, a bunch of unmarked black wagons pull up into your front yard. And oh motherfucker, shit's going wrong. And the fun part there is that you just have that moment of having the GMs kind of go, the players go, oh fuck, the IRS is here. Quick, Wizards, dude, get your shit out. Why? We owe back taxes. Fuck. But the thing is that if your players can make the, but no, anyway, going back to the GM thought he was gonna fuck with us, and he blew up one of our merchant some raiders showed up and blew up a merchant convoy, and oh dear God, watching that group of players, which I was part of, stop whatever we were doing, and like look at the big bad, and just go, halt, man, halt. The bad, and I'm like, what? We're gonna go over there and go beat the shit out of some Somali pirates, motherfucker. Oh, yeah. You do whatever the fuck you want over here. We're gonna go murder some motherfuckers over here. And the GM's like, wait, are you literally going to stop fighting the evil big bad just so you can go beat up some guys who beat up a merchant convoy? Oh yeah. And that's the equivalency to a bunch of Somali pirates and rowboats come out there with AK-47s, and then suddenly you show up with the Kirov. Just boom.
That happens.
I know, and the GM is like, okay, so a bunch of level 2, level 3 bandits who raided your merchant convoy, and then we showed up there like fucking Caesar, and being like, cough up the money and the goods. We already then cough up all of your contacts. Oh, and believe me, players who have suddenly been robbed become fucking mafia agents. We will go out there and be like, what are you gonna do? Kill me? We could do far worse than kill you. The cleric, yes, I'll take care of this. But like, even at death, you'll talk. I'm not letting you. You will not enjoy the afterlife. You won't even see the afterlife. I will make sure of it. Well, I refuse resurrection. Who says I'm killing you? I will keep you on the edge of death forever. You will not, trust me, you will not make the saving throws. You will be tortured. And watching that poor GM watch us just dissect people to get all of our shit back, and then send a message to the next 12 motherfuckers, down the road saying, if any of you try what I try it, I will happily create a line of crosses from here down the entire Appian roadway of all of you bandits, and as a message to all of you, don't you touch any of my shit. And the bad guy, it had a GM go, you guys are fucking more evil than the actual bad guy. We're capitalists. What the fuck do you think we are? We're rich, or we want to be rich, and you don't get rich by letting people rob you.
Yeah, and like in the real world, like you wake up one day and your truck for work has been broken into, your catalytic converters are out of your fleet, and all you can do is really tell the cops, hey, listen, come to this location. Our entire fleet's now got no catalytic converters. Yep. And you tell the cops everything, and the cops just kind of shrug their shoulders, be like, all right, thank you for the information. Let your insurance handle the rest.
And we'll never get back to you.
That's it. We'll get back to you. And you know what never happens? The people that stole your catalytic converters never got caught. They never served time. And
the thing here is that because when the GM who did this to us, we were at the time a bunch of people who, who worked in shipping. I worked for a shipping company at that time, and so we were all used to that exact situation. And you know how they always say gaming is a power fantasy. The power fantasy for most of us is actually going out there and beating the shit out of the criminals.
Yes,
that is our power. The power fantasy for most of the guys who were at that table. We weren't there to go and play, save the world. We were just going, we're gonna go over to that meth head who stole that catalytic converter so he can get high, and we're gonna knock his balls into the next dimension. And leave him screaming, leave him crying in a ball, after we're done. That's what we're going, that's vigilantism. That's a power fantasy.
It's a fucking role-playing game.
Right. And so therefore when we decide to go, we're going to level Methville and murder a few druggies. Yeah, that's our fantasy. We're not here to save. Like, can you get back to saving the world now? Pika needs more fire. Um, and we get back to aggressive urban renewal, and you know, solving the crime problems through the application of high explosives and high firepower. Hey, look at that, the crime problem's solved.
I've got
What do
some
you?
ideas for Jade's campaign next week. By the way,
I have more too. I like the idea. We're never getting ideas.
I know that sounded bad, the last statement I made there when I was comparing myself to Uvalde Cop, but I thought it
No,
was. I
that
thought it was.
works.
Yeah, I mean, I launched a mortar. Let's stand back here because you've got scary rifles over there. I could
I know.
completely see a Uvalde Cop doing that. Sorry, guys. If you hadn't
I've
made
seen.
yourself a meme, I wouldn't make these jokes.
Hey, I know enough. Like currently in Peoria, the cop tactic. Sorry, not Peoria, but the current Chicago tactic is, when there's a drive-by shooting, they'll actually block off both ways to the site to the shooting site to prevent the repeat the second pass. That's now starting to happen, where they'll shoot randomly and draw out the people and the police, and then drive by and shoot the police and the guy who's filling out the crime report in the front yard. You know how it always happens. That's
Hmm.
that's the current tactic right now. Is you shoot, then come back 5 minutes later and shoot again. So that way the first pass is just there to annoy and get people out in the open, and the second pass is to kill them. And I'm like, that's brilliant but evil at the same time. So the current cop tactic is one cop at one end of the street, one cop at the other street, and then one cop filling the report out. I cordoning off the street so that way you can fill out the crime and do the crime investigation. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here now? Yay!
I'm happy to hear that that's going on because Peoria, I love that town. It's got a lot of challenges in it. I lived at one point in River West. I don't know if you know that or not,
Yeah.
but that is a fairly it is high crime area or a diverse living area, if you wish to call it that. But it is one of those places that it isn't as bad as what people would say. I mean,
No.
yes, it's ghetto, and yes, if there was ever a raid there for drugs, 9 out of 10 tenements would have various stuff, more than likely low tier stuff like marijuana, maybe some Flacco or fentanyl, but probably marijuana. And
Yeah.
I don't think the real problems are there in River West. I think the bigger problems are not even in the city. The city isn't like a super drug town. The problems are, fuck, I hate saying this, but over where Connell lives in Pekin, you'll find more drugs in Pekin than in Peoria, I feel. There's a lot of
Oh
drugs
yeah.
in Peoria, but there's a lot more drugs in Pekin.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that's just honestly how we game, and
Yeah.
we have fun doing this shit because it is our fantasy, and I know a lot of GMs don't comprehend the fact that we're going to do this kind of crazy top of the line weird ass shit, and it's hilariously bad. Ah, God.
So, um, Optimus kind of chimed in after Janet was saying, I don't understand why DMs don't want to have magic be used so much in their games. And Optimus has to come in and tell her, like, magic is like technology. A lot of times people will use technology in a game like Civilization to blaze by problems. And in D&D, they don't have the bonus of technology, so they just go for magical solutions.
Yep. And
And
I
then,
kind of yeah
go ahead.
yeah, and I kind of bounced into the idea is the fact that I mean ah. Uh, trying to reread this, and I can actually,
You're not
yeah,
against
it is.
magic, but the reliance on magic in a constrained way.
Yeah, yeah. The two parts of me that there are two parts that make me want to scream. Is that part that I want to? It's like I want magic to be amazing. I want magic to be creative. The problem is that because we play with games that have very set in stone rule, like I understand why they have set in stone rules because not everyone is going to find an interesting, creative, or out there way to apply magic. It's like it's kind of why like lightning bolt in old second was cool because it bounced and it made you have to figure out angles and do weird shit, and you could just do crazy fucking insanity. Or when Fireball, like how we used to have how we used to rule it, Fireball wasn't just simply an area of effect, but it filled a volume, and therefore you
Yeah,
could
it would pull back on itself.
yeah. So you
If
could
you
have
a right area, it would expand.
yeah, and so you could just blast yourself like like a blast furnace of fire and death, or have a lightning bolt bounce through a room and fry everyone in a horrible, horrible, nightmarish of room of death. And I've seen players do the angles and going, oh fuck, and then watch a player go, yeah, I've already calculated this out. This guy's gonna get hit 18 times by lightning bolt. Wait, what? I want to see the math. And then they go, everyone kind of stops and wanting to go see the actual geometry of what the fuck just happened. But that guy is now dead. It isn't just simply, oh, I got hit by a 5d6 lightning bolt. Oh, I'm slightly singed and a bit uncomfortable. I don't want to touch a doorknob to I have fried his entire bloodline back 3 generations. And but I think it's just because of the fact that magic is just mediocre. It's just an ability. It's like you just. I don't want to say it's just. It's just like it's just like here's my action. I get 3 of these. 3 of these a turn and a day, and this is my cool ability. And you don't put much thought into it. It's like no, I put some like. I think this is why I kind of like Legend of the Five Rings a bit, the older editions of it at least, where you had the set spell, and this is what it can do, and not just a simple, oh, and as you level up, it gets more dice or its saving throw increases, and here this is all like it does this. Your fireball does 5d6, and then it gains a level unless you overcast it, and then it goes a little bit better. Cast at a higher spell slot, and I'm sitting here going. But L5R and other games along those lines had this cool thing where, okay, so here's the base spell, and now I can modify it by making having to do your caster check, because in those games you had to do an actual spell check to cast a spell, and you can actually modify things like the range, the damage, the effect. Does it do a little extra? Does your healing spell also not just restore health, but does it also like repair critical effects? I love the idea that you have a baseline and then you can modify it out. But I know they put out meta magics for that kind of so you can like for 2 extra spell levels you can have a bigger spell. Like no, I want I kind of almost want to pull the one thing that came out of the Wheel of Time role-playing game was channeling, which allows you to do things like over channeling, like I'm just going to burn myself out to make the spell more powerful than it should be. So I'm only a 4th level, I'm only able to cast a 3rd level spell, but I want to be able to get a 5th or 7th level effect, but you're going to risk, pain, suffering, blood. You're going to if you want to alternate, you're going to pay the price potentially and either hurt yourself badly or keep on going, or you just do it well because you have a cool item and you do all your rituals right. You don't have to be a god to be able to do godlike effects. But
Like,
the thing here is, yeah,
well, no, I was thinking about like having with my system. I want to have like a mana pool for
yeah,
wizards be aside from like their spell points.
yeah,
And, like they don't get many mana pool points at
yeah,
all. But they like for the cost of a mana pool, they could do a ritual spell for like teleport. With ritual spells, guess what? Take them about 60 minutes to cast it all,
the,
and it's kind of involved. I'm going to make him do a casting level check every 10 minutes. But if
yeah,
he does it, if he's able to pass it, shouldn't be that hard. Spell goes off right. And I think ritual spells are a way to kind of do crafting feats and
yeah,
create magical arms and armor. I like that idea.
yeah.
And
And I very much like that idea too. And the fun part there that like, and if you're doing that mana pool system, you can honestly say that, you know, making the ritual longer lowers, would lower the spell cost.
yeah,
Spell
or
point
at
cost.
least a risk.
Yeah, or negate it. So waiting for the right time, being in the right location, finding ways to pull out. It's like, yeah, you could just go raw power. It's like, I am a raw magical being. There's currently a flare going of magical awesomeness, and I'm on a ley line. I will just I raw power this bitch, and do big bad evil guy thing, and be awesome. Or, we're kind of a coven of witches who live in a trailer park. We want something cool, but we need art, instruments of power, the right location, right day, right time, combine our powers, and then work all of this stuff out and pray nobody says the name wrong. And we could pull off a high level effect, but it took us 3 hours to do it. That's cool in my book. But then again, I'm also a Mage the Ascension player, where that is what I just described as playing Mage the Ascension.
I'm okay with this. I'm not against Mage the Ascension. There are very cool parts about Mage the Ascension that are becoming lost as every day goes because they've taken away the Ascension. They've made it something miserable.
Yeah, and the thing is that I don't think a lot of people, to go back, with D&D, it's like I spend a lot of time listening to music, and I think this is part of the reason why I hate Bard, the way Bard has always worked. I like the idea of, because there's something enthralling about a singer who can, with a few notes, with a band, with a guitarist and a singer who opens a few notes and plays a few chords, and suddenly the entire audience knows the song. They know it, and then they take over. And there's a power to that. And there's a feeling that when I want to play, when I say I want to play a bard, I'm not looking to play some retard with a lute who goes la la, and here's your bonus. I'm looking that I want to play. I like, my goal is I want to play the lead singer for, say, Blind Guardian, or I want to play. I want to play, Nathan Explosion from Metalocalypse. I want to
Yeah.
just be able to be. I want to have the next, for the next 4.5 minutes as this song plays. I want to be. It's going to be awesome, and I want it to be awesome. But the problem here is that the game doesn't let you be awesome. Like,
No.
you can't just have your bard sitting on sitting in the background on top of a wall of speakers with explosions and pyrotechnics and fire going off here, providing a psychological bonus to everyone who can hear you because you're singing about fish. I mean, and,
The only part of Shadowrun that I really like is the first edition core rules did Rocker Boys.
yes,
I thought that was about as good as we're going to get for a rule set detailing how a person can sway a crowd. And I've not
Yeah.
seen that since then.
and and the thing is that I look at most other most games hoping for it. It was like because it's like if I was to actually rewrite Bard for like Pathfinder or something like that, I would actually just have it the if you use your bardic inspiration or whatever the fuck you term they want to use for it now. I haven't looked at the new 2.5 playtest for it. I don't care anymore. Um, but it's like if I hold my song, I want to be able to have that bonus continue till I end the fucking song.
Yeah.
So like, it's like if I if I want to go pull go hey my character is I wear sunglasses, has a mohawk, and wears camouflage. I'm going to sing about awesome murder and war and death in a Swedish accent. My character will be totally awesome, but also pretty laid back and chill about shit too. And I'm going to sing about this cool shit about being being heroic last stands and shit. And I want my entire party and everybody who can hear me to feel inspired about how awesome we could be, and that death should have fucking ain't the end. And I want to go that far. I want to have a do a death metal song and just be like, and it's just about how we are going to murder the fuck out of you. You should all fucking give up all hope, aka any death metal song, and have the bad guys go, "Oh fuck, we're about to get get our butts clapped," and that's what I want. I want to have that level of cool happening. But guess what? Your no game designer wants to give that level of awesome to to any one character, because that sounds like it might be overpowering. The bard might actually be able to, I don't know, sway an entire stadium into being badasses. Why? Because we're playing the bard song today. Yes, we are. And
In
it's like,
Delver's Dungeons and Delver's second edition, David Guile is working in infinite magic bards. If you make the perform check, you make the difficulty class, you get a bonus. And if you exceed it, you get a bit. The bonus gets bigger. Now, also, he has a
that sounds
similar
cool.
convention where the fighter does certain, instead of like feats, he does stunts.
Yeah,
And you have a stunt number you have to make in your attack. And if you do so, this goes off. It's like a passive bonus that goes off with your attack. You do either X amount of damage, or you might knock somebody prone, or you might get a desired effect with a certain weapon, blah, blah, blah. If he does that, that would make that really interesting. I hope he doesn't release it within the next couple of years, because there's still a lot of people I know that are wanting to start a Dungeons and Delvers game with First Ed, and here David's talking about, we're doing an Infinite for second edition. Fuck, he's getting ready to do second edition. Fuck,
honestly, that sounds amazing, because I mean, there's a campaign that a few people that are friends of mine would love to play. Is playing a bard, playing the band, playing a
true.
band.
A fucking
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, like it's like we want. It's like everybody had like the requirement for the campaign that we were all like we used to find a GM who could actually run it, because like I am not going to run this because I want to play it. I don't want to be going, God, I'm going to give you all the treats that I can't have. Like, I don't want to be Red Skull in the in Endgame going, all I can do is take you to the treasure. I can't have it. I want to have this. I want 5 to 6 players who roll up like a goddamn fucking like a goddamn rock band. We're here to do all the drugs, drink all the beer, wreck the inn, and then throw a goddamn concert. That will be amazing. Our adventures are literally going to be the shit that happens between concerts, and then have every every town we go to have some world-ending, total badass fire, pyrotechnics, explosions. Half the town is death. Half the town is on fire when we're done. Show, and then we're gonna go have our roadies load all our shit back up in the wagons, and then go off to the next town. That's what we want to do. Everybody's a performer, and we are going to just, and bad shit will happen. The GM will just throw dumb things at us, and then in true Metalocalypse fashion, we are going to ignore all of it so we can go out there and have our fire-breathing helicopter drop explosions and angry cats onto a countryside. Because fuck you, we're that crack-addled today. I know it sounds more zany and goofy than what most people want to do, but I'm tired of trying to save the world. I'm tired of trying to change, scrape two pennies together. I want to go out there and live the life of like my escapist fantasy I want to run for that campaign is I want to go live the Motley Crue lifestyle. I want to be an 80s hair metal band and go out a 70s metal band, rocker band, or an 80s hair metal band.
I'm not gonna lie. I want to be Keith Moon in the past life.
Yes.
And then David Gall says, here's an idea: hirelings that add to the bard's perform check.
Yes.
They're like backup singers. They give you like a bonus.
Yes, and as I'm a huge Sabaton and Blind Guardian fan and like a Rhapsody of Fire fan, they make extreme use of or hell Symphony Metallica Symphony and Metallica, where it's like you have the fucking band like an entire choir section and a massive orchestra, and I'm like, yes, I'm going to go up here. I'm going to go play some fucking metal and have an entire orchestra behind me. Fuck everybody. I want to be John Williams with a fucking electric guitar. That's what I want to do. And just wail out some amazing things, and then have the bard who's up there being the lead singer, getting just belting out lyrics and having everyone just there. It would be hilarious. Like, why didn't you hire a high-level mage? He's the only guy who can do pyrotechnics well enough. Or we have an alchemist who goes, I am living for this moment to shoot fire 100 feet in the air and light up three counties in the glow of the fireworks. This is what I live for. And the bad guys are like, do we fuck with that? Oh, fuck no. We ain't doing that. Why? Like, literally at one point in the song, they're going to airdrop, the puzzle cube from Hellraiser onto the audience. How do we fucking match that? They already don't care about the lives of their other fans. Like, fuck. That's the kind of shit I want.
So, one of the other funny things that's put into chat is all the instruments the bards play are made from the parts of the dragons and monsters we've slain.
Yes!
Bards are actually necromancers.
That would be hilarious. I would love this. And I've had players who are like totally into scrimshaw and doing weird shit. It's like, yeah, we're going like some bad guy. We're here to fuck with you and hey guys, I think we need a new drum set. What? Wait, what? No. Like, yeah, our kettle drum is kind of out of tune, and you troll boy, looks like your skin might be able to cover that drum. Get him. And then murdering a troll that's and instructing a still living skin over the Kodo drum, so that way we have an awesome sounding instrument as we go forward. And like, look, if we don't go through, I go through town looking like the guitarist from Mad Max Fury Road. Yeah, that's goals. That is fucking goals right there.
He one of the young actresses that was off of that movie, I forgot which one, but the guitarist and one of the young ladies that was captured and then reclaimed by Mad Max and the whatever her name is, the homeless girl.
Yeah.
The guitarist and her hooked up. I was so proud of him.
Dude, yes. Acoustic version of Rush's Working Man? Yes. fucking yes, there we go. Playlist of shit that this mythological band of badass battle bards and and, and their crew of, and their army of roadies are fucking will play. Yes, I am totally okay with that.
I was thinking about with that playtest I'm doing, like the first few levels, I want to have like you remember in the Pathfinder and other GMG books, they've got like the NPC versions of the fighter, wizards, all that, the adept, the warrior, the shaman, the
Yeah,
expert. Have the players at first be like that, and then once they go to an official school or once they've received training, they can actually graduate to fighter, rogue, wizard, cleric. And I know that sounds like, oh, we're going to drag your feet. You know, you're going to be stuck in this for like 5 levels. Well, no. It actually happens when you guys earn sufficient, amount of money, and you can actually find somebody who's willing to train you. And that's the thing. You got to find somebody willing to train you. And that could be really hard. That could be really difficult, just depending on the player and GM dynamic. It
yeah.
just depends. And I hate to say
I can
that.
see I can see the potential of that. Honestly, it's got potential, but it also has the problem of your GM may just fuck with you because he doesn't
Yeah.
like you.
And
And
I don't want that to be something like in the GM in the dungeon master's guide or the judge's guide that I have to write. There's going to be things behind the scenes that I want to have that the GM does have, like a record of like. I used to have an idea where like you'd have your score for your ability score, but in parentheses there'd be a variable of a percentile number, and every level that goes up just small, a little bit incrementally. But I want to pull that off. I just want the ability score there for the player to worry about. The GM rolls that incremental shit every time you get leveled. So maybe every level he'll be able to tell you something like, hey, when you were training, your wisdom went up by +1. It's now 15 instead of a 14. Or hey, while you're training, your dexterity leveled went up to a 20 instead of a 19. Things like that. And I like that idea because I want to foster with this game an environment to where the GM and the players do get along. It don't need it to be adversarial like the way I run.
yeah,
And I don't. David Guile asked if I'm going to have multi-classing or some equivalent. I'm really not inclined for multi-classing. I Not that I don't want it, but like I want to go for like the pre-training levels maximum of 5, and then the 4 basic or 5 basic classes up to level 10. Now I need to do Bard all the way to level 30. So I have to do something unusual because a Bard is a blend. It should be a jack of all trades. But with every class, like every 5 levels in your actual class, you can specialize with that, eventually going into things like Cavalier or Assassin or stuff like that. And the Bard can specialize as well. I just haven't developed the Bard a whole lot yet, and I need to get that worked out before I put it in writing. But I don't like the idea of what Wizards did with multi-classing because the players kind of ruined it with level dips. And the reason why they did it with Wizards is 3.0 and 3.5 so much is that every time you level dip, you get a +2 to your strong saving throw. And with mine, you never get a bonus at the first level. You get your bonus at 10th level, 20th level, 30th level. You get a +2 to your saving throws there. But when you're first starting out, you don't really get bonuses on your saving throws from your main class. Your bonuses are basically coming from your ability scores till you hit like every 4th level. And I know that sounds murderously slow, but I'd much rather you put the time in with your character, and the game is not going to have saving throws be so wretched as what they are with D&D. They're going to be a little bit less, so you're not going to be expected to roll. I mean, it's not going to be balanced per se versus 3.5, but it's going to be a lot more depending on how the players play. Because one, it's not a round by round game; it's second by second, and two, it's also a game that stresses mobility and smart play rather than you go, I go, you go, I go, you go, I go. and I need the players to want to be smart. I don't want them to rely on the GM just to let them have cattle experience points. I killed 70 sheep. I'm level 13 now. No, fuck you. Um, Bards are going to be the fun one to do because they should be a jack of all trades. I like them having the ability to be able to sway crowds or to fascinate crowds of huge sizes. And I don't think that should be something that should be so difficult because we have high schoolers do solos at concerts, okay? Why in a fantasy game could you not do the same? If you made your roles and you have a character that's designed around being an instrumentalist, you should be able to entertain people and earn money. There's not, or at least be able to earn your daily food. I don't understand why in 3.0 and 3.5 and in other games that they don't really give musicians credit. Shadowrun was the first game I ever saw that rewarded any sort of musician or any sort of talented individual. That's just me. Go ahead, Guy.
Okay, if you want to know where I like, yes, Metalocalypse was part of what I wanted, but there was also a video game called Brutal Legend that did this thing really, really well.
It's probably the best Jack Black I've ever seen.
If you ever want to, if you haven't played this game, it is a borderline terrible game. But boy, is it the game controls and the actual gameplay is terrible. But boy, is the game loaded with so much character that you just want to just drive around and listen to, unlock all the music and just listen to shit. Like, it is just a bonkers game. Also, when I used to hang around a lot with in the old days of when 4chan was actually fun, it was never good, but it was fun. Around 2000, around 2011, 2012, TG wrote up this insane setting called Hail and Kill, and it was a metal-based role-playing game setting, and it is fucking. It was the people who went to town writing this up this game. It is this game setting. It is full of so many references on, like, if you know metal, it was like, yes, I am on board with this. It's like it was insane, and it was just fun, and that was also back when creativity was much, much more just, everyone was just wanting to throw in and just make just insane games. And yeah, it's like where you had gods like the Aerosmith or the Tenacious Duo, like we were doing, or the Great Army of the Men of War. If you know these bands, you fucking know it, and it just runs. It was insane. Like, Heavy Mithril and Hail and Kill were two great settings that, and after you see crazy like this, and then you go back to, welcome back to your fantasy world. I am Good Otheus, god of good, and this is evil. I'm Evil Sar, the god of evil, and we have been fighting a battle for a very long time. I see you are a cleric of Healia. She is the god of heal and protection. That is good. You are good cleric. I see you are a paladin. You are a paladin of Paladar. Paladar is good paladin god. Are you good? Defend. I grant you powers to smite evil. I shall smite for Paladar. Yeah. Walk into, and I shall go fight the forces of Skeleton of Evildar. And I'm a druid. You worship tree. I Triotheus. He is the god of trees. I just kind of want to worship a god of law. Lawful Czar! He's your friend! No. But he's also the god of policemen, so you really don't trust him. This is literally like what most fantasy worlds are. And meanwhile, the elves are. We also have our elven gods, and then there's the dark elven gods, and then there's the orc gods, which just might as well sound like, who are you? Girthark, guy who punches thing, fist of blood. Okay, okay, cool. Are we in another fantasy world? I see we're in a new fantasy world. Could you roll out the gods of boredom? I want to see my pantheon of choices. Good. This is some grade A schlock stereotype. I'm ready for more of this. Why aren't cleric player, as I always am getting forced to play cleric all the time. It's like, dear cleric player / white mage / guy who's healer, why are you not being into being a good cleric and preaching the good word of good of Godotheus? I don't know, because I don't know. What is Godotheus? Is what is their worshiping? What is their tenets? Slightly Roman Catholic, but with less baby fucking. Okay, I can get behind this. I can get behind this. Okay, I will walk out there and go, you are all fucking sinners and horrible heretics. You should all be, I should burn you all, but if you repent now, I will not burn you. Throw me all your money so that way I can go build myself a throne of gold. That's not what the church actually wants. It's what I think the church wants now, and I'm the cleric. I'll take away your god powers.
Please hold while Kai recants us the rest of the time that he spent in Sad DM's imaginary world before we were whisked off to Ravenloft and have been more railroad.
I know. I should take away your powers of for being a bad cleric. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh dear God of evilness, could you please grant me awesome powers of awesomeness because I have somehow managed to screw up the totally not written up very well tenets of good. The GM. I don't think so. Fuck you, GM. Fuck you, GM. I'm praying to the evil gods now. Excuse me. I will do horrible things in your name if you grant me cool powers. Done. Fuck yeah. And it's like
I've had so many bad experiences at tables, where you have a GM that just doesn't give you a whole lot of respect. He has a very tepid setting. It's got a lot of bad ideas put forth, and then you've got like all these sad like. He just watched like the Mystery Science Theater 3000, and he took inspiration from the movie without the humor. And I don't want to play Puma Man. I really don't. I really don't want to play Puma Man.
Puma Man.
No. And I'm gonna get stuck playing Puma Man, aren't I?
I love the end credits to that movie are beautiful.
So, Chimerian becomes a Dark Lord of
Darien. I will rule over my new domain of drugs and broken down buildings. I might actually be Dark Lord of Evil, might actually be a better mayor than the actual mayor of Gary, Indiana. People will be like, no, I'm totally cool with Dark Lord. Why? I mean, by crucifying a few guys, he actually reduced the crime a bit, and then he instituted, cross-state border checkpoints that kept all the gangs from South Chicago out. I mean, and he's actually the buses actually run, and he fixed the potholes. I mean, we're totally cool with this, but he demands 100 people be sacrificed to him every month. How are you okay with this? We're okay.
We're okay. It's nobody I know.
It's just someone I know. I mean, he's lowered taxes, and He's improving. He's improving the general business, and hell, I've got a job now. Sure, it's sweeping up bones off the street, but I mean,
the next 3 months are going to be sacrifice free because he's sacrificing on the homeless if they can live that.
And it's like, and he hired the metal workers downtown. Like he reopened the the steel mill because he needed to have a new giant castle made of bristling spikes and metal. And well, that employed at least 10,000 people that needed a job. We're fucking okay with this. But he's raising a tower of evil and a big burning eye that will look upon. It's okay. It's okay. It's like we just traded the police. Yeah, we traded the police out for faceless death troopers, but they're doing their jobs, and they ain't fucking with with most of us, so it's okay.
Come visit Gary, Indiana. Commercials lures unwitting Californians to Sacrifice Day.
Come walk the Rainbow Road right into the wood chipper.
Oh, the Rainbow Road. Hey guys, let's get 7 more people, and we can have a hell of a multiplayer match for the what is that, Mario Kart?
Yeah, it's totally okay, man. He keeps telling stimulus checks. I'll sacrifice whatever he fucking wants. That's right. Aren't you just artificially inflating? Nobody's going to come collect on the city debt. What? No. Why? You don't want to know what happens in the Dark Tower of Spikes and Evil? What happens? Here's some binoculars. What happened? See that German guy crucified to the top of it? Yeah, that's a message to everyone else. Don't fucking come here.
He's putting stimulus checks. I'll sacrifice whoever the fuck he wants.
That's right. God, to play the Dark Lord, the Dark Lord of Gary, Indiana. That would be hilarious. Don't worry.
I'm going to put a link in chat. The guys, copy this link, put it into another tab, and what I'm sending you is a skit that was done 2 days ago or last night or something like that. It's for The Normal World by Quarter Black Garrett and Dave Landau. And they have a skit that it's a mockumentary skit where they have the rise and the fall of the Smear the Queer League, a 30 for 30 parody. And it's one of the funniest 9 minutes and 24 seconds you'll see. But if you like good satire, this is good satire right here. Go ahead, click this, open it up in another tab, pause it, watch this after. You'll thank me later. This is, they're a very fun duo. Dave Landau is a hell of a comedian. He's very funny, and for some other reason, like he's making good money with the Blaze. I thought he was going to go back to Compound Media, but whatever. He's with Quarter Black Garrett. They made a fucking amazing little skit there where they talk about the sensation that raged across America in the early 1900s. There was a bunch of kids playing pigskin, and they're like, "Hey guys, we're gonna." They were somewhere in Poughkeepsie or somewhere in the New York City area. We're gonna go grab some cheesesteaks. Let's go. And one of the kids is vegetarian. He's like, "Nah, I'm not gonna go grab no cheesesteak. I'm a vegetarian." Like, man, he's a faggot. Get him! And they smear him. They just throw him a ball and they just break his neck. And they kill him. And then from that moment on, the game of Smear the Queer has been born. And it's a funny little mockumentary. And I hope you guys watch it and have some laughs because there's a lot of just. I was crying last night when I was watching this with Janet. So I want to pass it on to you as well. Hey, Travis, how you doing, sir?
Mm-hmm.
Have Travis J 1975. Kai, did you want to comment any further on that date back in October 12th? Because
honestly, because we're bouncing through the magic. We're hitting a lot of the concepts that were actually being discussed between me and Janet at that time, and Then I just got down to a silly old meme that really kind of like I think I think we covered most of what we were talking about in that conversation. That really just
I think I need to show the meme. Otherwise, yeah. And boy, yeah, you're right. Show the meme. And
yeah. No problem, Lady. Have a good night.
Lady, take care.
You can always watch it on the repeat. So, and we're only an hour and 40 in, so you can come back later. Got it. I'm trying to figure out how to. I don't know how to share that kind of stuff. So,
I'll show you how to do that when we cut out, because that's something you'll need when you start doing your own shows.
Yeah. I just more just like enjoy talking. So, no, but it's just that point where you realize, oh shit, I made a mistake. Yup.
And you guys share a lot of memes in this Discord, by the way. On your sub channel alone, the amount of memes is very funny and frequent.
That's because I try to share them that fit a theme, and I honestly I spend most of my time with a bunch of shit posters, and we make they make memes, they find memes, they recycle them, they dig them out of nowhere. I don't make them very often because honestly, by the time I make one, everyone else has made 50 of them that on the same topic. So I harvest from people who are genuine grade A shitlords, and I love every last moment of it. So when I find good ones, I share them. Boy, do I share them! Because if they make me laugh, why can't I just share them with everybody else? And yeah, I do spam the fuck out of your
the meme channel.
Out of your meme channel.
Yeah, that's accepted. Perfectly acceptable. And I'm waiting for more memes to pop up for World War III because we've got 3,000 reservists.
You get called up?
Yeah, but it's in the tiny print, 3,000 reservists at a time.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I've been watching I had a few other channels where people are just like, I ripped those poor people in the inactive reserve who are being called up, going, yep. And then a few of those people are making jokes of, oh, they called 3,000 people and they watch you like 3,000 just bloated mobility scooter riding other fuckers with long beards going, we're here, you called. And because that's what it is these days. Nope. And I just kind of laugh at my friends going, you people are weirdos, and I love every second of it. Oh, but no. Past that meme on to the 14th of October, I think I'd actually come to an actual interesting point that I was actually making that was actually kind of funny, which was not really funny, but it went into my thought of when GMs are just kind of going. I think I was covering into the Copernican principle, the mediocrity principle, the idea that we are not the center of the universe, and mediocrity is that everyone like there's a bland nothingness, and then working through like a testing program to filter out the idiots, so that way you don't get the low end of the bell curve, because there should be a certain point where because I guess it was like you have to be like the top 10 to 15% is what you're trying to recruit for, right? And like because like we're not looking for luck of the draw, we're looking for actual competent individuals. So you put down some basic written tests, some basic logic tests, and some basic hey, do you know how to form a sentence and read? Do you know how to communicate? Do you know how to run? Do you know how to lift? Do you know how to not fall over if you look at your shoes? And you can create figure out a bell curve to go, this is where I want the top 10%, or I want the top 20% to be recruitable for a party. And then you might look at the idea of, oh, so you're not looking at 10s or 11s anymore. You're looking at like 14, 15, 16, because 18s are almost impossible. You're not going to see a whole lot of those. But hey, you're still looking for good numbers. And so that way you can move away from the idea that I know where I mentioned shit like where I'm following the Drake equation, where this is where, again, if I was a dark lord of a fantasy world, this is the shit I would do. And that is like mandatory means testing of all of my citizenry to figure out who has the potential to be a hero or be good. I don't want to have Conan the Barbarian as a grocer.
No.
Because while 18 double-aught strength, 15 dex, 16 con, a 14 intelligence, 12 wisdom, and a 13 charisma, but he's working at the Home Depot. And you're like, what the fuck? Why are you working at the Home Depot? It's just how fated it is. How fated Crom has deemed me. My job is to throw the Mexicans off the front porch at closing time.
It's a bad thing that I live in a town where if I need staff for a job, I can go to a home improvement store and I can find a truckload of individuals that are willing to follow $250 extra bus. Yeah, $250 extra. Okay, let's go build this fence. And I swear, like, they're gonna bust their ass for that fence. Here's that meme we were talking about. My OP character is gonna break your campaign. Me, a dungeon master with a spine.
Claim.
There.
Yes.
Mistake they've just made.
Oh fuck. Yes. Trust me, I know what the fuck I'm doing. Like,
I hope you had a good night with your dad, Janet. Hey, Mage's Musings. No player is capable of breaking my campaign. Extremely, extremely overworked dungeon master. Happy with his work. Yes. You don't know who Mage's Musings is. I do want to put his link in chat. Go ahead, guy.
But no, because when you start to figure out, it's like, the NPCs aren't capable until players stir up shit and they have to go fight the city guard. And I'm like going, oh shit, that's when you find out the cop with gym rats and snorting weight gain powder, jacked and ready to beat a few heads, and oh fuck, it's Charlie Squad, run for it. And it's like, because picture how players are just like fucking vibrating, waiting for a combat to happen. Now imagine there's like this SHAT team of SWAT town guardsmen who are just sitting here, with their pre-workout fucking powders, and they're just like ready to go. Just like you crack open that room, and the smell of gym socks and testosterone just goes floating out of that room, and you're like, oh no. And then as soon as the light crashes into that room, one guy's giant throbbing eye will look at you and go like, what's the job, boss? We got some guys who are causing a bar fight down there. Charlie Squad, go! And that's something like hut, and they just come running the fuck out there, ready, they are in full fucking gear, ready to just go out there. Here's the party. Yeah, we had some fun. Yeah, we're throwing some guys out the windows, and we're just causing some problems. And then suddenly, these 6'4" jack dudes, whose shoulders are as wide as the door frame, come popping themselves in there, going, we're here to fuck you. Like, oh, what the fuck? Who the fuck are you people? Oh! And that's when you realize that the town guard recruited. I did a bunch of physical fitness tests down at MEPS, and all they recruited are 18 double-out motherfuckers, and they're here to beat your ass. Where'd they find them all? Well, actually, by statistics, there's about 80 of them in our town of 20,000 people. We have about 80 people who qualify as 18 double aught, and we found them all, and we gave them all beat sticks and battle armor. Oh, this isn't going to end well for us. No, Barbarian, you're now outnumbered by Charlie's squad, who is going to fucking sack your ass. Boom! And the beatdown happens. Oh God! Police abuse! There is no body cams in our fucking era, motherfucker! And they're just beating the living shit out of you. And then you wake up with like 4 concussions, 2 broken ribs, and 1 hit point going, what the fuck hit me? As you wake up in jail. That's how I kind of think things would work. Yes, the Roid Raiders.
Yes, I saw that. I'm like, that's what we're talking about.
Yep.
Now, did you want to go over stat arrays and die rolling and all that, or no? Because you do have you do have a pretty it's a neat little bell curve piece. I think everybody that's ran a game has realized
knows the bell curve.
Yeah,
because honestly, if you look at this chart, it actually shows you what you're going to get and how. And I know a lot of GMs who will run one of these. Like these are the standards. This is the standards, and and yes, I know I am in the. I play with the yellow chart. I am the 4d6. I drop the lowest, reroll once because I like heroism, but I also do 4d6, drop the lowest. Those are the 2 that I do. So I am always on the yellow and the red chart, and I've almost memorized this grid, so I know where I'm actually falling at in this probability chart. And when I see a player roll this, and I kind of go, man, I'm sorry, it's like I had one player who rolled really miserable, and I'm like going, so your scrawny ass person who's just shit at stats goes to MEPS and gets his test, and you go, nah, you failed, throw you out, roll a new character. But I want the challenge of, all right, we got to understand. But I'm going to throw you into horrible situations that are like, depending on what I want to do. If I'm playing low fantasy, gritty, miserable, if I want, if I want to have, you're all fucking burger flippers down at McBurger Arby's, and that's when suddenly the Fire Nation invades and the zombies walks to the front door. What do? And if your answer is not. Okay, so I'm gonna go home, grab the girlfriend, grab my mom, go to the Winchester. Okay, there we go. We're gonna play we're gonna play 3d6. Congratulations, we're gonna play some traditional D&D shit. But if my entire goal is okay, so my plan is you're about to be assaulted by the 412th, airborne division is about to drop on your entire area and cause some shit, and you're all actually a bunch of badass veterans. I'm probably going to go, roll 46 for drop the lowest, because nobody recruited incompetent buffoons. And you're all playing somebody who's 4th level and competent. You're not a bunch of losers. Now I have no problem running, Shaun of the Dead or Hot Fuzz, the role-playing game. And that's what it. If someone says 3d6, I'm on. It better not be high fantasy, Well, you need to run across this currently on fire, collapsing bridge, and if you fail one check, you will plummet 2,000 feet to your death and make a new character. Dude, we're a bunch of guys you recruited. I recruited from in front of the Home Depot. We're totally not up for this fight. Well, this is a high adventure. No, we're not high adventure characters. Stop. Blaze, not metagaming. No, we are playing PUDs. Stop throwing the. Stop making us have to go play a Guillermo del Toro movie, or a Peter Jackson action flick. because we're not Peter Jackson action characters. But that's what. Okay, we're not Harry Dresden either. Sorry, man.
So, I mean, I'm fairly familiar with the bell curve there and with how the draw is against the regular individuals that you get recruited for a game. Janet also, just for Janet's knowledge, Chimerian is a forever dungeon master. You'll find a lot of these in my friends that, like these guys, have been their tables DM for over 10 years, for over 12 years. And Kai is just another one of my friends that has that title. He does a really good job of being a DM. He brings 8 people to the table usually for, he runs either Pathfinder or 5e, and he has the same situation that I do where he'll have 7 to 8 people, 10 people at a game.
Yeah, I'm between 5 to 10 people at a game. When I get a chance to play, everyone promises me a long-term campaign, and I come in ready for a long-term campaign, and the game usually ends up dying due to scheduling conflicts. Never because the game is just, we are shit players. It's just simply we're all 30 to 40-year-olds, and we all have lives, and, well, I've got, someone else's excuses are, I've got kids this weekend, I've got some family problems, I got a death, so I can't be here due to having to go to the funeral. Sorry, we're all now at the age, we're all in our 40s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. People, and if we have any form of extended family or friends network, people die, and you're going to just be like, guys, I can't make it this session. I got to go to another funeral. Another one? Yeah, I have another friend who just bit the dust. And you just got to go, okay, cool, you're not making the session. Or if it's the GM, okay, guys, we're not playing this week because the GM has to go put on a suit and tie and go look nice I go look nice in the cemetery. And it's like, this is just how life works. So whenever I get a good game or where it sounds awesome, life goes, you now got to pull you got to start pulling 12-hour shifts. You can't make any game because you're literally the undead now. I'm like, yay. Or I'm sick, or the plague, or the coup, or the coup happened, or various other shit. So or when I do get to sit down for a game, someone's like, hey, I would love to have you play my game. Oh, I would love to play your game. And then I sit down, and it's like, oh, no, I'm at the Crayon Eaters game where this is now the most boring game I've ever played. Oh. And it's like, this is Adventure 1. And now behold, my awesome GM NPC who will now hand you the adventures and will escort you because you need to be able to defeat. I'm like, oh dear God, please, can I just no. Blade, why are you paying attention to the game? Because I honestly know what's going to happen before you've honestly done it. I'm just going to be here to roll dice until you need me to do things. Blade, do something cool. Why? I've tried to do something cool, but you've shut me down the last 3 times in the last hour. I'm just going to be here until you tell me it's okay to roll initiative and roll combat, because obviously that's what we're here for. Okay. Well, I'm just going to. Yeah, I know. Excuse me. I have other things to do with my life, but I'll keep showing up until you tell me that the game's over. Cool. And that's where I encountered the wonderful problems. No, Gandalf would be a good GM character, because you know what Gandalf did? He went and fucked off at every opportunity.
Yeah, he did. I've got to go study this ring, and off to Osgiliath he goes, I think, or
in The Hobbit, it's like, I am here to create your party. I created your party? Cool. I'm going to go fuck off now. Where are you going? I have important business. What important business? Important business! And
he did that a lot.
And meanwhile, the rest of the party, okay, we are a bunch of incompetent idiots who have no idea what we're doing. because we're all playing fighters, dwarves, and we have low intelligence, and then the one thief. Oh my God, what the hell! And here comes Gandalf every once in a while. Are you dead yet? I'm surprised. I have a pool going. Shit, the fat one's still alive. God damn it! Excuse me. I need to go off until the fat one dies. And like the big final battle where a wizard would have been really awesome. Shows up afterwards. Oh, I came and saw that. Oh wow, most of you are okay. This is weird. I'm surprised that you lived. Anyway, I'm going to now. I'll get you home.
I don't like NPCs that do the player's work. I really can't stand that. There was a old part of Tolus that you would pretty much bump into this 5th level fighter that he was an NPC that if you used him, your players could eventually defeat everything they ran across because his special shtick was he did not obey the laws of encumbrance. So he would have whatever tool you needed in his backpack. You just had to wait a D4 rounds for him to be able to remember where he stashed it and pull it out for you. Oh, you're fighting gargoyles? Let me give you some magic weapons. Oh, you're fighting a troll? Let me give you this decanter of limited acid splash. Just shit like that.
Yeah.
And it was bad NPC design, but I can understand why Monty included it in the world's greatest city ever detailed, because he knew that the players weren't going to think ahead on that scale. And
I know.
I as a DM, I just don't like that design.
I guess because I've been playing long enough, you can usually spot the god character within the first 3 sentences of introduction.
Yes.
Okay, so we are all a bunch of dirty hobo fucking peasants who have scattered together. All right, fighter, what do you got? I got some rusty chain mail and my trusty sword. Yeah, sworder. I'm a sword guy. What do you got? I got magic missile, says the guy. Says the dirty weirdo in the bathrobe, and the one cleric. Okay, nobody stub their toe because I can only heal you twice today. That's my 2 spells. All right, and then suddenly out of nowhere, I am a very well dressed and dignified, well spoken, and all my gear is fantastically immaculate. And I'm just know everything, and I'm here to gather you all and give you a quest. And then this quest is a little. Don't question the vagueness. I'm going to go off on your adventure, and then you go off on your adventure, and oh god, this fight's way more brutal than it really should be. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, aha! It is the NPC who gave you this quest, and I realize that you might be in trouble. I'm here to save you. And then we're all like, and some players, wow, this guy's so awesome. I can suck his dick. That's so awesome. I like this guy. Then here I'm going, can you just do the adventure for me? Obviously you're here. You can do the adventure. No, you're the heroes. No, we're not heroes. We got our butts kicked by some rats.
I've got a mud sword.
What's that?
I've got a mud sword.
Yes.
The biggest geek is one of our affiliate friends. They've got a really nice website, biggeekemporium.com. If you have any independent game desires, that you should be able to find it there. And if not, it's because the creators have gotten into a fight with Joe and Randy. Anyway, if you go to Joe and Randy's site, they have a really nice setup. They are getting ready to start doing adventure modules. Randy is like me. He just needs more time to sit and type, which when we get the time to sit and type, oh, look, I could play Quake, and I play Quake for 2 hours instead of writing. My bad. And he has his game is going to be called Mud Sword, because it's supposed to be the life of basically the zero that's on his way to being a hero. I don't think they actually get to hero in Randy's game, but his desire is to make a game where you go from 0 to hero, and it's going to be called Mud Sword, which that would be pretty damn cool. Yeah, David Guile, but somebody tried starting shit, and it's a topic I don't want to get too much into, but if you dig around, you're going to find out who. It's the same guy who's been picking fights with everybody here lately because he's got a big channel and he can punch down, which I don't give a shit. Anyway, Mud Sword, Zero Hero characters. Kai, you're not a super fan of that because the majority of times whenever we've started a game, not we as in you and me, but whenever people start games, they have this idea we're going to run a grand quest. It'll be like The Hobbit, and like you have no equipment. You're starting off with like just your kitchen frying pan as a melee weapon, and you got to figure out how to get to 20th level.
Right.
You know, and then they never get to the end. You never finish the campaign. You might not finish the first adventure, and it's so many starts and sudden stops and disappointing stops of games like that. That's what causes a lot of people to just kind of be disinterested in the hobby unless you become the forever GM, which I'm not recommending you do anybody. I mean, I think the forever GM is a nice spot, but it's
tiring. It exhausts you.
It is exhausting. And
I mean, because the thing is that being the forever GM means you're just pouring out your creativity with some return, but not much return. I mean, you don't get much energy back. Unless your players get into it, and then if they're into it and get a long-term game, it is rewarding. But there's that certain point where you kind of look at it and go, "But I want I know it's kind of greedy to say it, but I wouldn't mind having my turn to be the crazy hero who does fun things," because you don't get much of a chance of it, because as a GM you got to make sure the game is fair-ish, with asterisks, many underscores there, where it's fair-ish, but you really don't get the chance to pull out all the stops. And the bad part is that after you've been yeah, you're right. Work harder, not smart. Work smarter, not harder. The problem is that if you've worked hard early on, the investment pays off where you don't need the mechanical anymore, and now all you are is the creative engine powering it. But there's that point where I kind of want to have. I want to be the over-the-top hero. I want to do that. And the thing is that as a forever GM for me, when I get a chance to play, because I know most of the games I'm going to join are not going to last, being told that you're going to go play Mudbug the dirt fighter down here, down here with your sharpened stick, and 2 layers of dirty rags as your clothes to start with. And you go out there and you go beat up some goblins, you take some goblin gear, and then you work your way up. To then be told the only way you're going to have a cool character to be actually interesting is that you gotta and because you gotta realize I'm going to be playing this with XP and or milestones. You're going to have to endure at least 5 to 6 sessions per level. Well, how often do we get to play? Every 2 weeks. Okay, so let me. In my head, this is where I have to start doing. This is where my evil GM math brain kicks in and goes, okay, so I won't get the ability to have a chance to be an interestingly fun character or have cool abilities until some point mid 2024.
Okay, Kai,
Yeah.
I understand that you've got the math in your head for this setup.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you that I would like you to invest time with people that are willing to commit to a long-term game. There are people that do like short campaigns, and Omanal is one of them. I run every 2 weeks. I try to run 7 to 10 hours.
Yep.
And that includes the time when we all are gathering together. We're not on camera yet, but I'm trying to put my players out. Get all your small talk out now, kids. I'm trying to fucking get you ready to game. We're here to play. We're not here to fucking have social hour. Come on, let's go. Those mountains look quest worthy. And then I turn on the camera and we go. until about 8:30, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Usually when Janet starts having allergy problems, that's about the same time where the pumpkin has arrived in the driveway, and it was a carriage about 10 minutes ago.
I
And
know
so that,
when I get home from work on the weekends, I gotta work. I like watch. I like turning on you guys on your game and watching. I really do.
okay.
But the thing here is that I would like to play it, play a like, and I know I should try to find to carve out some point in my life where I can actually go out and play a long term game, and I would like to because dear God, I'm more interested right now in I don't really care about the mechanics, but I like to do all the fun social side of
Hmm.
playing a role playing game because that's where I would like because that's where all of the fun characters that I've had in the past are actually fun. I don't like. Yeah, I played a lot of high level characters that are actually really interesting, but and I could go and I could bore you to death with all the mechanic. Oh, he's got a cool sword and they can do some cool effects and like, but that's yeah, cool. I could bore you with technical details all day long. Hell, if you look at the background here, I live for boring technical detail. By the way, most of those are all like technical readout, but I tell you, like actual boring ass books from they're great books, but they're all reference material. I could bore you with technical details all day long, and but I would rather tell a story about an interesting about the interesting characters in their lives that they play, that they live in. Like yeah, I wouldn't mind. It's like it's why I keep asking GMs of, hey, since I'm joining your game, could I just play the grizzled old guy who's in the background who I don't do much, but when it comes time for something bad to happen, you can just call me in and I'll just go and do something and let everybody else have their you know and they're like, no, you gotta be like everybody else, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, I
Oh,
can handle it. I can handle it. I want to play the grizzled old character who gets killed. I killed in Act Two. Okay, that's what I want to play. I I
um,
want to play. Well, yeah,
no, I don't disagree with that. I mean, if you only have limited time, you have limited time. Like Omanel says, he likes short campaigns, and even
yeah,
short campaigns can evolve into a longer campaign if you tie them together. They don't have to be
yeah,
like ran all 4 years all at once. But if you had like a game, this is a hypothetical, so let me go with this. If you had
all
a
right,
group of people that lived close to each other for 10 years and they'd play a game for a year and then they'd quit and start a new game or board game night, and then they go back to those characters about a year later because you miss your steady character that you played. You really miss being able to launch six magic missiles at once, and you wanted to go back to that campaign. And the DM's like, great, I've got some adventures for higher level heroes. And you guys run through that for a while until the party hits another apex, and they're like, okay, well, we're about gamed out. Let's do board game night again. That sounds good. You can do that if you want, and
that's
however you play. I'm not going to slam how you play.
yeah,
And my entire thing, like a lot of my friends are like, I'm surprised you've never burned out. I'm like, oh, I burn out, but I will then read and delve into books, and I'll start mining for new ideas. And I don't run every week. Okay, that's part of the key for me. I
yeah,
used to run 2 games a week, and that was all I had to do because I had a very low level job, and that worked out fine for that moment. But now that I'm doing something else down here, I'm a professional, etc. I don't have time to do that. And my friends, I have a friend that wants to run a game, so I'm not going to suck up that holiday, that day of the week that we would otherwise be playing his game. That's fine, but I don't mind playing a long game, and I'm very okay with taking a year to get 6th level. And just so that breaks down, I want 30 game hours at the screen before they go from 1st to 2nd level. And I know
yeah,
that sounds really difficult for some of you. Others are going to be like dancing around. They love that idea. They're dancing, got sombreros off. The Macarenas are coming out. that's celebration time. I think that is important though as a DM, because whenever you think about your games, you don't usually think about the high level bullshit play. You're usually going to reflect, and most of your character's characterization comes on from the lowest level you played him as. Because if you played him very slow and very cautious, it's because he probably got rocked at low levels with a critical hit, and he was limping the rest of the module or the rest of adventure or the rest of the time the players were there in stress. And it makes sense. And I want the longer spans of time to be devoted to getting the experience points just to level up. So for me, saying that 30 levels at the table, that means like 3 sessions. And I like 3 sessions to 5 sessions before you level up again.
I think the problem here is that because I do give the long term camp, like the next year and a half, next 2 years is going to be one story, and it's going to be every week or every other week. It's going to be for 4 to 5 hours, and you're going to work your way up probably from second first second level to, by the end of 2 years, about 12th 13th level. That's about where you're going to end up at. The problem here is that I keep wanting to go into a game going, hey, I'm ready. I'm ready to invest the next 2 years into your 2 to 4 years into your game, because I've done that. I know that I want that kind of dedication. I'm willing to invest that long into a game. I'm willing to give you my free time for the next 4 years, and I'm ready for it. So therefore, I'm like going, okay, I'm ready to go take whatever you're going to throw at me for the next 4 years and then play with it. But again, the curse of the parent happens, and the game ends, and so I had to constantly start over. I'm playing a new campaign. We're back at first. We've barely made second. Game ends. Start over. Barely. At a certain point where you just see first level so many times that there's only so many ways that I can make that goblins, rats, kobolds stay interesting. There's so many ways
I disagree with that, because the first levels, like, you don't have to go out and slay rats under a cellar. Although if you're playing Baldur's Gate 1, that's part of the experience. If in my head, first level shouldn't be about you getting your face busted up in the ring like a young Mike Tyson. I honestly feel that first level, you should be exploring your town. You should be doing like delivery small quests. You shouldn't be getting involved with things aside from just learning the world, because that's really a lot of DMs will not run the same campaign over and over and over again. They will run a different campaign world or a different dimension or such. And I think the first level, you should be like learning your mundane things, and you might have like 6 or 7 fights at first to second level, but I don't want you to have to do it with 50 orcs or get rid of the rats in the basement or do that. I think a lot of it comes with just like, you might spend 30 hours at my table leveling them up, but really like 4 months might pass between those 2 periods of time. And you might have a journal where your character has drawn maps of where you need to go in every town and where the notes are for who has the best spiced potatoes and where you don't buy your armor from because 3 days out of town the rivets are popping off, things like that. And I think that if you want to have stressful first level games, you can. The game is set up for it. No matter if it's D&D or Shadowrun or Rifts, you can have stressful games. But don't, as a dungeon master, push that on players as every waking moment of their life, because then that 30 hours or that time to second level just becomes murderous and slow. And there's not much more to most games than combat. Very rarely do you have a campaign that will try to put role playing and face work above any sort of sword and board mechanical conquest. And if I'm wrong on that, go ahead.
No, you're actually doing right. Now the thing here is that this is an artifact that dates back to ancient, late '90s when I first went to college. But yeah, first edition travel log for how to play playing Legend of the Five Rings. And in the back of it, what made this book really cool is that it's a character sheet in a booklet form that tells you, weaknesses, like it's pages of fluff and really great, psychology and fun things, rewards, and then how to actually run the honor right. But what made the whole thing fun is you actually get journals that whole first level writing in the book so you can figure out the world, and you're drawing pictures and little notes to yourself and everything. Yeah, literally pages and pages of just fun things that were all in here that were just in character notes to myself, and it just goes for pages. And like there's genealogy of family trees, other weird ass comments, fucking strange ass stuff that I can go back here and go, this was beautiful. Why did I like? And this was it took us forever to get from first rank to second rank. I understand when a GM puts a lot of effort in, and it fucking is a magical thing, which is why I've never thrown this book away, because this is a reminder of a good, very well run campaign. It's a reminder that a low level campaign that grinds can be a blast for all the reasons that you gave. But the problem here is that most of the time it starts with, it might as well, you wake up from your dark sleepiness, and there's a guy sitting across from a wagon from you and says, "Oh, I see you're awake," and now you're in the adventure, and it's going to be not much time to actually live a life and play it, get into the role of the character. It's going to jump you straight into, you're now in an adventure where you are some young people who are recruited to go do some things, and you have no experience. You are a barely functional human being, and now go do some things so you can now work your way up. I would prefer it if I was like, because it was like, hey, you're first level, you've graduated years of training, you're an actual competent person, you're actually functional. Here is your stipend, here is the equipment that you were given because you graduated, and not have it be, well, I rolled really poor on my treasure, on my starting gold, so I have what amounts to trash. I'm wearing trash. My gear is trash. And thus, I have to go pull out a book I've been writing in the cover for years and modifying it down so that way when the GM decides to fuck me with a rake and say you get no actual money, make do, and then handwriting in the cover how much I need to spend to be able to have basic survival gear, basic clothes, and a basic weapon. So that way I don't instantly auto die. Yes, this book is like a fucking treasure trove that I have written into. And the transition, honestly, that's a good question. What is the transformation moment? I think it's that point where you decide that you're not going to just, I don't think there actually is a transition point, because most of us are, I'll be honest, I'm one who doesn't really believe in the idea that you go through your entire life not, or, anytime I hear the word everyone's a level 1 character, and I'm like going, bullshit. We all go through life. We all do things. None of us are. Anyone who's not an 18-year-old, graduated from high school, wet behind the ears idiot, has done something. You've gone somewhere. You've done something. Nobody's unless you are a complete imbecile who's never done anything in their life. You're not. You've done something. You're talk to somebody for any amount of time and you find out that that guy you think is an idiot, no, he's actually got life dealt him a bad hand. He's actually an architect. He's got skills in architecture. He's a good drywaller. He's a good crafter. And if you get into a drunken bar fight, he's going to be the first guy to shatter a glass and stab a bitch. And you suddenly go, oh wait, so in an actual bar fight, you're the guy I hang out with. Yeah. And you're like, okay, cool. I would never have known that unless I talked to you. And you find out that the more you talk to people, the more you find out that unless you're in a white collar, everyone's a goddamn fucking pansy. You live in a white picket fence, bullshit suburban life. Most of them, fucking whatever. They're zombie chow. But most people, I spend my time in low class truckers and mechanics. Most of them are fucking like no, life has beat you down and you fucking had to fight to keep going, and we all fucking are, nobody is a bland idiot, which is why I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I kind of like Traveler's Life Pass. This is like no, that broken tired 40-year-old is sitting here looking at you from across the desk going, and you're like, he's just a first level character. That 40-year-old is looking at you going,
No.
I will pull this countertop off and beat you to death. I have no fears at this point. Like life has broken me, little man, and that's just simply the fact of. And I think it's just an adventurer is just somebody who answers goes out and does something.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. When I'm writing this, I keep thinking that the NPCs in the world you're going to bump into are going to be an average of 3rd to 7th level. They've got the ability for magic or for healing or for being heroes, but they just don't have the drive. There's got to be somebody to operate the stable. There has to be somebody to work the inn, to manage the gold, to be willing to deal with the tax collector. And there has to be a society, and you can't have a society based off adventurers. Now, the thing is that the majority of what I am doing, I'm playing for the game that I want to write. The majority of your time as a character will be eaten up in offline or in training, where you got to spend 3 weeks with this guy for him to teach you how to be skilled with this weapon you want to be skilled with. Well, yes. I want to be a master with a sword. Okay, well, you're going to spend about 26 weeks learning how to be a grandmaster, or a master with a sword, and be a grandmaster. You take a year off. So it's going to be, a lot of the game is spent offline. And so, and I like that, because I really don't like the idea of, I leveled up, I got my experience points, I just need to rest now so I can get my hit points and saving throws and my new feats and my new spells. No. I don't like that. I like a more gradual game, a game where a GM can actually weave a narrative. It's not just dungeon after dungeon after dungeon after dungeon after dungeon after dungeon after dungeon. It's, you spend 3 weeks healing up, or you spend a week training, or you spend da 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 da. Go ahead.
I actually almost did something that was kind of a hybrid of this concept. Again, I have been fiddling with rules, and I tossed the iterations out for a long time. But one of the things, because the exact, I used to have, it worked for a while, but then I changed groups, and then the new players didn't understand the concepts. So I retired it. But the idea was I broke every level up into five segments, and when you hit one segment, you got to choose one aspect of your class that you could level up. So if you wanted that +1, but you didn't get the hit points or the saving throws or the class ability or the other, any other thing. So therefore, it was a gradual transition because I kind of wanted to have, because at the time I was very much smart. Like I was very pissed off about the fact that I was forced to run D&D again, because this is back in the 3.5 days. I was pissed off that I was back to running D&D and not playing Seven Seas or Exalted or Legend of the Five Rings, the games I would run that I want to play and run. But I was back playing, and therefore I'm like, no, I liked the gradual power gain and transition. Like, so it was one of those things where you didn't get the full class ability until you leveled, but it gave players a way to kind of slowly transition up to that threshold point. So like you don't get the class, the next level class bonus until you've earned your four level up, mini level ups. Because some players go, well, I kind of want I kind of want this, and I kind of want that, or rather than just simply I am a boring man. For the next 8 weeks, I am the same character who never improves, who never gets better. If I am deficient, I am deficient for the next 3 months. And I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. And then all of a sudden, flash of light, you're now better. No. And that's why I kind of had this slow, gradual transition. And the players at the time liked the idea, but then those players, life happens. They all left. And most of them, and a bunch of new people came in, except for like one old player who's like, isn't a cool idea. And everybody else goes, this concept is hard to understand, and my small brain who's new to the game, I can't follow this concept. And I'm like, fine, we'll go back to the traditional way of playing, where for the next 2 months you guys don't do anything. You just enjoy your characters, live your life. But I have other gripes and complaints about, Pathfinder 2nd and 5e, where leveling is pretty much meaningless. I'm convinced it's actually meaningless. But that's a whole other lecture for a whole other time, and I don't want to go into that this late. Fuck it, I do. But yes.
I just, like, we got some guys who are talking about, like, they like a gradual system. Some people don't like to train to level up. In my current game, I use, like, it's your level times, or the level for every day that you level up. So I'm going to level 14. Well, it'll be 2 weeks before you can get out of your in room and actually go do something fun. Because for 8 hours a day, you're, like, training and studying and doing stuff. And that's not like a Pathfinderism, that's a Bruceism. I just need something to help, like, advance the calendar, because otherwise there's going to be, like, just in a less than a year span, I had players go from level 3 to level 15. Yep. And I don't need that. And so, like, I like the training time. I like that, and I know that some people don't, and I get it, but I like the idea that, like, you're not just an adventurer. Like, at some point, like, there is a point where you decide, I'm not going to be farmhand Bob. I'm not going to be the scribe in the table. In Warhammer FRP, your beginning character classes are literally the mud farmers. They are rat catchers. They are coachmen. They don't have exciting adventure-filled lives. They have a potential to be adventurers. They shouldn't, but they do have the potential. But yeah, if they fulfill all their needs and gradually increase the things that are required according to their character's path, they can train to go into another character career. And with my game, I actually like the idea of at a point like you decide when you want to take this character into officially being a cleric or officially being a wizard. I like that because that's a point, and I think that's something that we're losing as a culture, especially. Um, we're losing the graduation from being a child to an adult. And now they're talking
Yes.
about, like, well, childhood doesn't end until age 26 when your parents take you off the insurance or whatever. I really don't like that. I want you to understand that future generations need to be sufficient. You need to be men and women at 18. And so I do think that, a game that has 5 levels, up to 5 levels, where you're just not really a full blown adventurer. You're a warrior, you're an expert, you're an adept or a shaman. You have these potentials to where you could, but at some point you actually take the time out and officially graduate. And so time will pass and those levels will convert over to wizard or fighter or cleric, some such like that. And at another point in time, later on, after you've done sufficient amounts of levels, you do subclasses. I'm not a big fan of multi-classing. I never will be. I'm sorry, 3.0 touched me in a bad spot, and a lot of Pathfinder players still do the stupid level dips. Just so I can get this prestige class, or just so I can get this one thing. No, those are stupid. I don't like level dips. And I know that sounds like I'm a hard ass. Oh, I've been called names all my life. Whoopee.
Now,
But
I got one little one small caveat there is I this will loop back to both travel time, training times, and other problems. It's I think we as storytellers and GMs have to learn how to pace a story,
yes,
because the reason why we have the 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 1 year wonders, the 1 to 20, I 1 to 20 in 2.5 seconds characters, is because of the speed the stories run in. You don't have time to catch your breath. It's simply when like it's so it's like you. So you graduate from your apprenticeship. You are now a journeyman. You're level 1. You're a journeyman character, and you're now going through your journeyman to go learn your trade, your profession, to become the warrior, wizard, cleric. You're because I'm just going to say level 0 should be your apprenticeship program. Congratulations, idiot! You're carrying buckets of plaster around, and you're carrying toolboxes for people who actually know what they're doing. You're the apprentice. And now you're level 1, you're a journeyman. You're out to go learn your trade. You're now going to do this, and master will be when you level up. But the thing here is that we as most GMs do not know how to pace a story. We don't. So you walk out with your new journeyman certificate going, I'm a fresh-faced little idiot, and I haven't yet sold my soul to Snap-on Tools yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it's coming. And that guy's just sitting here on the corner going, fresh meat. And you don't know it yet.
Every Friday at Lackland, kids.
Yep. Like that guy in the white truck with the red lettering is going to show up and be like, do you want, you need this magical, you know what, I need to do a campaign where the players are all actually Snap-on associates and just drive around conning everyone.
I'm going to have to use the official word for it that we use in the trades. If you see a Snap-on Tools van coming in your parking lot, usually the words come out, the rape van's here.
The rape van is here.
Because that's going to do that to your wallet. Your wallet's going to feel very bad after the tool man leaves.
Because you need that tungsten carbide bit that's adjustable that allows you to be able to fix both a 10 millimeter and a 12 millimeter at the same time.
No. 7/16 and what's a metric equivalent to that? You know,
Yeah, I know.
and I know there's somebody in my chat that knows this automatically off the top of their head, but I swear, like they're the only way, and I foul up a lot on this, and that's one of the reason why we talk about this is you want to talk with other GMs and get their opinion. But you're talking about pacing of the campaign. My pacing is based on a minimum of travel time.
Yeah.
And travel time for me is basically how my entire campaign works. Because if the players will take a minimum point of time to get from point A to point B, then I have an opportunity to advance the clock so many days. Is there any random encounters? I roll a dice or so. But that's how I figured out how I wanted to have my campaigns evolve.
Right. Now.
Yeah, there they are. 11 millimeter, 16 millimeter. We have an idea. 11.3 millimeter. So yes.
Yeah, but you know the moment you get there that he's going to try to sell you on a tool that costs way too much money, and you're going to be on a payment plan for the next 20 years because you need to have this tool to fix a timing belt, and you will never use. But you need
I feel like you're getting a little personal here, and you're looking at my Milwaukee video system that also will charge the mini batteries for the Milwaukee toolkits. And it range 100 feet from my phone, so I can jam out these playlists for hours on end until my phone dies of no battery juice because it's not iPhone compatible with the charger that's on the bay. But if I have the mini USB compatible charger on my phone from like 5 or 7 years ago, I can plug one of those Androids in. Yeah. So anyway.
But anyway.
Musings has something here. WotC designed a 120 level leveling around some research metric pertaining to an average campaign length for individuals that were in college kids. So basically within like a semester, you could do 1 to 20 in the game.
Now, the problem here is that the metric that they were using for that study was based off of Roll20. And the problem here with Roll20 is that it was rating these things and not like only certain people use Roll20. Usually younger people who don't have a lot of time and play shorter campaigns. The games don't last long, and that's what it. But the thing is that a lot of people still play in person or they don't look at. There are still people who play via chat programs, via email, via in person, via so many other ways that cannot be that their metric does not follow, and it's fucking miserable. But WotC doesn't you can't like that's not a variable that they can measure because honestly most of us who play in every other form, and I've seen people playing D&D or playing any role-playing game through like there are still people who use MIRC and who play via just standard old chat programs. You can't monitor all of that, but you know the marketing wizards over at Wizards of the Coast at Hasbro can't track that, and they're missing what most people are actually playing and actually wanting. And if they went onto any form of forum or any form of group that actually communicates, they'd see that their metric is aimed in the wrong direction, but they don't do that, and I'm sad about that. And it's like, yeah, I understand fast leveling. Fast leveling was a fun point early on. Leveling up, every 2 to 3 weeks isn't a terrible thing if the players are motivated and are constantly doing things. But but again, this comes back down to pacing, where we GMs, like, we hammer out the situation. Like, we always paint a very dire um, scene. Like, the level of events is going to pass quickly, and they're going to hit hard and fast. It's like, so on Monday, you get somebody comes, limping into your office and pleads for help. You go out and try to find a solution, but then the inevitable complication that always provides the kink to an adventure comes in and at an adjacent angle, and you're like, that doesn't, and now you're trying to handle both problems at once, but and then so there's more complications, some more fights. Fights equals XP and treasure. Fights equals loot, or not. And then you move up there. You're having your encounters, and then by Wednesday, you now have the problem. The real problem has starting to manifest itself, but you're still trying to follow plot B, and then you keep moving. On Thursday, you find out that plot B actually is part of plot A, but there's a big fight at about what you would call the end point. Act 2's point. You get your butt kicked and you're now healing, which healing should take fucking time. And so now it's Saturday. So you have a day where you're unconscious and you wake up, you're sore. You have to go gather up your resources so you miss Friday. It's Saturday. Now you're sitting here gathering up all your resources because now you know the full scale of the problem. You're preparing for it. It's now Sunday. Sunday's the big fight. You now end the big fight. The fight happens. You've gained your level. You're now level 2. It's been a week. And rather than having time for us to rest and play as players to go, okay, I need to go home and drink me some sangria. I need to, pay my bills, pay off, take the money I've got to pay off the mortgage on my house, pay off another installment on the mortgage on my house. I need to go repair half the gear that's damaged. I need to go and just, rest. We almost immediately, as GMs, hit you with the next plot point. And then suddenly the next arc, next story hits you, the next adventure. And now it's barely Tuesday of the next week. You're still sore, cut up, and beaten up from the last one, but it's like we don't get this idea of like if more of us read books, like actual like good stories, like good novel series, you would see that there's usually like a 3-4 month jump between each fucking novel. And a novel should be an adventure, and so we're going on to the next one. But no, we hammer it out fast and fast and fast, and we just beat players into the ground. And sure, travel time might be in it, but there's no time to have a life, to make friends, to go out and do something, because some players don't have anything that they want to do. They don't know what to do. So when you give some players free time, they just stare at you going, what do I do for the next 3 months? I don't do anything. I don't know what to do. Because my character sheet doesn't say what I can do. And that's it's a failing. So of course we as storytellers trying to give our players motivation to stay in character, motivation to play, go, oh shit, downtime, oh shit, no one's talking. So we fill that void with something, which is another adventure. And then suddenly we're now on to book 2 of the adventure module. And now we're pushing through the next adventure path book. And now we're just rapidly racing towards a conclusion and the bad part is because we didn't lay down the foundation of a life, of a backstory. And this is always why some players write backstories, and why when GMs go, I don't want to hear any of your backstory. You didn't do anything. Fuck you. I lived for 18 years. I did something. My family was someone. I did something to graduate into first level. I'm alive. And so because we fail at first level to give you anything more than simply we fought, we had an adventure, we killed, we murdered, and It's just fight, conflict, complication, fight, conflict level. When we finally get downtime, everyone kind of goes, I don't have any friends. I don't have any loved ones. I don't have any connections. I'm not planted to the ground. The last house I had that was worth anything, the GM lit on fire, so I have no reason to live. I could put I should just put everything I own in a wagon that I'll keep under a bridge down by the river, because that's the only thing that I can guarantee I own. So when the party wagon shows up with the airbrush wizard on the side, because if they invest in a house, your GM's going to nuke it. You're prompting your players to have no connections, to have without that downtime. So yeah, first level learning is critically important, but you can almost tell by the end of the first adventure what kind of game you're going to get. And if it's just simply action, drive, action, complication, action, pushing plot point, and no deviation allowed, you're not letting anyone have any room to plant roots to become anything more than just a murder machine. And I'm not here for a murder machine. And because I've done this for long enough, I can tell if I'm going to get a murder machine game by the end of Adventure 2.
I want to say goodnight to Mage's Musings. You've already not exited, sir. Appreciate you tuning in and listening to us and involving yourself in the chat and throwing ideas out there. If you guys haven't subscribed to him, and I don't like to self-promote, subscribe, like, share, comment on my videos. I don't like to do that. I like to promote other people because he might be in a situation where he needs YouTube and Google AdSense money. So I'm not saying he does, but I'm going to tell you that I want you to like and share his videos out. I think once you watch his videos, you'll see he's got great content. I have good content. I have content that it's a live stream. Tune in for live streams. We have usually good conversations. But his prepared content, Mage's Musings, is excellent. I've not seen him do live work yet, but when he does, I think I want to check it out because he's fun to listen to. I'm not trying to suck his dick or nothing. I'm just trying to say, he's a good creator and he deserves to have more viewers. And it kind of is frustrating because I've seen other creators that their content sucks and they've got 10 or 12,000 subscribers and they play the algorithm games and they're not really that good. They're garbage. They're garbage. I'm sorry. Anyway, not trying to punch down, not trying to punch up, but he's a good creator. Go give him a follow. He's got a fun puppet show he does, but it's a very well thought out presentation that he gives. All right, on with the show.
Yeah.
Kai, the last thing I want to talk about, have you ever ran a low stakes game?
Yes.
What's your low stakes game like?
Usually they're just minor things. I've honestly enjoyed running. Oh God! Honestly they're mostly just. There is no big bad There's no big bad villain. There's no big scary thing. It's just simply, the parties is just a group of I think I dropped them off as just basic explorers. Hey, you were sailing, and you've arrived on a brand new continent. It's quiet. It's open. You can go do whatever you want. And I love that one because the stakes were just simply, we're building a house. We're fighting the local wildlife because we kind of want to have, I don't want this floating stingray to continue to eat my cows. Eventually it worked its way up to having some stakes, but the ultimate stakes were our house. We have a nice little community we built, and they went out and made friends with the local lizard people, or one person went, "I'm going scuba diving." Why? We're close to the beach. I want to go figure out what the wildlife is like. Another player went, "I'm going out to the woods and I'm going to go make friends with the well, I'm going to go figure out what plants are in the area." And it was like they went out and did things to go explore. It was a legitimate it was a legitimate hex crawl where there was no stakes. The stakes were whatever that they chose the stakes to be, until they went and found out that, well, there's some fairies in the area and they don't like you because you're bringing banality into their existence. And it was like, but it was there was no, the world's going to end, there is no grand, the grand assassination of the king or something happening, or the celestial alignment's going to occur on this one day and it's going to release the dark god of evil from the pits. No, it was legitimately, we don't want to have our town get sucked into the warp. Please stay away, warp baddies. And it was a nice, quiet, fun game. It wasn't quiet. It was full of adventure and fun and weirdness, but it wasn't, again, there was no dark god of evil, no armies. No armies on the horizon. It was just simply dropped them off. The boat dropped them off, and then probably sank. Well, it didn't really sink. It beached itself on a sandbar, and the party was like, "Really? It's stuck?" And I'm like, "Can you pull it? Can you pull a galleon off a sandbar?" Ah, hells! And because one player wanted to have a reason for why his pirate his pirate character was still with the party, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, because you were sailing out of an unsurveyed natural harbor, and well, you came in at high tide, you left at low tide. Guess what happened?" Ah, hells! I'm like, "Yeah, the boat's beached. How bad? Bad. Like high tide? Good? Bad? No. Like lose your commission? Bad.
Oh.
Yeah."
I'm sorry.
Right. And then he's kind of like, "Well, so guys, you want to go tear a boat down for building materials? Yeah, let's go do that." And he was constantly, it was fun because I was kind of doing the Shogun Blackthorn plot line with him, where he would periodically keep wanting to go build a new boat. That I would just periodically go, "No, you're not leaving the party." And he knew it was a joke, because whenever he would try to leave, I would just like, "No, nature says no. The boat don't go." And he's like, "Someday I will leave this continent. In the meantime, I'm going to go out and do some fun shit over here." And because he was an interesting swashbuckler, but it was just fun. This periodically he'd go, "I'm going to build a boat. I'm going to leave this shitty island. I'm going to go off back to where there's civilization and booze and women that are loose." And I would constantly go, "No, leave the party," because I know I can't leave the party, but it's fun to have my character my character's personality is, I want off this rock, and I'm like, it was.
Who else had that, right?
What?
You know who else wanted that, right? They who else wanted that for their story character, right?
Yeah.
It sounds like a Han Solo maneuver.
Yeah.
I got to go back and talk to Jabba. That you can use that sort of thing.
Yeah.
For your people, and you should.
Yeah.
You have other responsibilities than the party, but right now you're not getting a chance to break from them. And then, in the third act of the campaign, if that player, like, "Hey man, I got to go to war. I'm getting PCS'd over to Ukraine." Well, fuck. I'm sorry. Let me have your character get kidnapped by Jabba, and the remaining players will have to go save you. And this will be a way for me to bring in my neighbor who plays Lando Calrissian or something. And I think that we're going to be seeing a lot of that here in the near future. I hate to say that, but I see a lot of that happening where a lot of people are going to get, like, listen, things are happening. I need to, you know, adjust my priorities. I can't game. Okay, well, it's understandable.
Understandable.
And,
And
I had a player quit yesterday.
yeah, I know.
I mean,
And
he's going to be part of the game still, but he's not an active role. He's
for the next few months, yeah. I hope he has
real
good
good.
luck there. I really do. And but no, like it's like all of that is like so yeah. I've also done like the low intensity campaigns are hilarious because I had another low stakes game where they were just border guards. I gave it like they graduated and they were all assigned as border guards. They just traveled around, maintaining the border between two factions that were nominally friendly, but weird shit just kept on happening around them because, well, they're player characters. Weird shit's supposed to happen. You know, where they found out that where one player found out that the whore he was sitting with was a princess. It was a local a local noble girl who was wanting to slum it, and she was slumming it with one of the players, and then suddenly she was pregnant, and Daddy Dearest came out out swinging for the for that player, and it caused fun complications. Or when or a ghost, one player goes, I'm pissed off a ghost who was in a graveyard, and the ghost just ultimately ended up being harmless, but just kept on following that poor player around endlessly, forever, to the point where he was just like, you know what? I'm going to sit there and talk to the ghost. You're the only one who can see the ghost. Yeah, I know, but I'm going to talk to it. And it became just a running gag character. It's like these poor players just like, and then the plot line eventually just turned into tracking down a deadbeat dad. That was literally what one of the plot lines was tracking down when two players found out that they were both half siblings, and then they went, wait, so your dad's my dad? Yep. Son of a. And then they went out on a grand quest to go figure out where Dad went, and it turned into this tracking down the idea that, and the whole plot line became, how many half siblings do we have? And just hunting down dear old Dad and finding all of the half siblings who were scattered all around the country because he was a womanizing pig whose main thing was, before a major battle, going up and going, tomorrow is a battle I'm going to possibly die in, and I don't want to, give me some like seduction, some cheesy seducer one-liner, and then take some woman to his bed, bang the crap out of her, go to a fight, then walk out of the fight, and then never show up again.
How many kids have been born into a Leavenworth, Missouri trailer because of circumstances like this?
Yup.
I'm so sorry.
And the bad part was it was fun because like the whole party was like building an army of half siblings and hunting down dear old Dad. Like why are we hunting down dear old Dad? And we're like back-o child support. And that became the drive of the campaign for like a good solid 8 months, was to find this fucker. And he ended up being like I ended up making him like actually like a pretty good fighter, because he's like a 50-year-old fighter who's been around for a very long time, fighting in a lot of battles. Because look at how many women he knocked up. This guy's been around, so he's actually a pretty good fucking badass fighter. And the spellcasters in the group were like, no, this isn't our fight. This is your two fights. And so the two fighters were like, oh, we're here to fight Dad. And they went in there for that brawl. They were ready to go fight him. And then the first time they fought him, he whooped their ass. It's like bad sons. Daddy's back in town, bitch. You fucking learn your place. And that just fucking made it hilarious, because now the campaign was, we now know who Dad is. We now know he's a badass. Now we need to beat Dad. Like, are we gonna kill him? No, we're gonna fucking just tame him. Like we're gonna fucking just like browbeat him. Like it turned into like this. Like there were other plot lines that were happening and other stories that were happening, but this underlying, constantly player-generated theme of hunting down and beating up Dad. That was the entire plot line. And I'm like going, I have other storylines, right? They're like, yeah, but we need to find this fucker and then beat him to death with a mackerel or with a fish, because that's what we're gonna do. And I'm like, oh, I love this. This is so much better than any like end of the world storyline that I could ever come up with. And then we had other players who was like who got into other hijinks that were just as stupid, just as dumb. I mean, the whole plot line was, all these stories were all about mundane day-to-day life that was just like one player like he found out he was happy, he was a good day, he was a fresh dad, and he found out his wife was in labor, and it was now the race to get home so he could be there for the birth, and it was an entire adventure just trying to do a medieval version of like Smokey the Bandit, trying to get his ass home. And buying time, and I was throwing every dumb complication and roadblock in the way, and watching my players leaping in the way to try to like delay, like they were doing the heroic last stand. They're like, no, keep going, I'll hold them off. Shit. So that way this poor wizard could get home to his wife. That was the entirety of an entire session, was players sacrificing themselves to get him home. And I'm like, this was a good day. This was a good session. And because it was just like everybody was into it. Everybody was having fun with it. And because the stakes were low, there was no, and yeah, there was death, there was possibility of death. Yeah, we're all playing armed combatants. But it was fun. The price of failure wasn't death. It was simply embarrassment, humiliation, and maybe some stickering jokes. And it was a nice group of players and a nice campaign. I miss that kind of fun, especially when I get to sit down and play. I'm like, this is the game I want to play. I want to play Smokey the Bandit, the campaign. I want to do stupid shit. I want to have my highest problem is I have a car payment to make, and I need to, and all we got is low-paying jobs. Fuck! Why does everyone charge so much money? And keep it fun. Oh well. Like, or I want players to, like, what are we doing? We're gonna play. Our campaign's gonna be based on a song Convoy. Like, we're gonna like, our entire job is this. It's like, oh my god, we're gonna do fucking weird shit. I'm on board for this. The dumber the plot line, the dumber the concept, the more I'm on board.
Well, do you want to put a button on this, or it's after midnight?
I think we should put a button on this one. We got plenty to go back to.
The Six Nations has a comment here, and I think it's pretty valuable. That's one of the reasons why I love the film Payback with Mel Gibson. He wasn't plotting revenge because he was double-crossed for millions. It was chump change.
But it was
his chump change.
That is so true. Look, I'm going to beat you up for some money. It ain't much, but it's mine.
It's mine.
I can understand that.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons when me and Janet reviewed that movie last year, that's one of my favorite movies I've got, and I probably watch that movie at least once every 8 months or so. I've seen that movie more times than I've seen The Final Countdown with Kirk Douglas.
That's a good movie too, though. I like that one.
I love that movie. Aside from
preparing for Thursday's game with Jade.
Yep.
The Crafting Gamer dropped us his beta test rules for his game system. I'm interested in looking at that, and
I am too.
we're going to look at that after this is over. We'll be doing table breakers on Thursday night together. There's a very interesting scenario that Jade's running us through a Final Fantasy style game with his
Yep.
Index RPG. If you like tabletop stuff, you like the things I've been playing with on the table here all night, stop by. And if you haven't subscribed to me already, I know I don't like to say this. YouTube will unsubscribe people from time to time. If you like what I have to say, if you really think I'm one of the better individuals you follow on here, go ahead, click the subscribe button. It's free. And do remember that if at any point you see me in the real world, you want to hang out, you want a handshake, you want to exchange words, we can do that. Me and Kai are having a conversation here. We can have a conversation anytime we want, but we realize there are certain things that we talk about that other people might take a lot of information out of, or they get verified with their own beliefs. And I think that's kind of valuable. I think the exchange of information is very important. And I do appreciate YouTube for letting us to have a platform to do this. This will appear on Rumble here in the next 24 hours. I didn't stream to Rumble tonight. I needed to have this phone open so I could be watching Discord, so I could continue to reference things out there that was said 10 months ago. And I wanted to make sure I was pulling stuff right. So probably half my episodes are going to be streamed on Rumble Live. But please like, share, subscribe. Kai's got a channel. Kai, I'm going to pull your channel up and share it if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Because-
Baron will probably put a copy of this up there. So
I want you to have, you've got a lot of great ideas. You've got a lot of things that you put out there, and you're not the everyman when it comes to gaming, but you put some ideas out there that really fire off people. And I've noticed with the older gamers, they have had a lot of similar comments or leanings like somebody with a gameology has. And it's a shame you haven't written a game yet, but at the same time, I understand we all have needs. We have to, put food on the table. But at some point, man, I would love to see what you could do if you are ever inclined for that.
dear God, the game I would make is weird. I'm not sure, but
I don't know. I keep looking at Spheres of Power, and I'm like, I kind of like this system, but not enough to abandon it from what I'm working on right now. Because I don't like it better than the mana system I've got. I really like that. I think that one has wheels. I think that one's going to go places. And I know that sounds lame because, oh, Bruce, you're saying that because it's yours. No, I'm saying that because I think it's simple enough to where most wizards and cleric players will adapt it very easily and not have a problem. We'll be revisiting my game system here in a few months, I'm sure, on Table Breakers.
Spheres of Power is interesting, but it needs more time to finish baking the things that aren't just simply wizards and fighters. They need to finish baking out the classes that the not fighter, not wizard classes.
So you're saying you have Spheres of Might as well?
Yes, I've played with Spheres of Power, Spheres of Might, and Spheres of Intrigue isn't done yet. It needs, once it's done, it will be a fun alternative, but fuck does it, it is not, once you've done the work for it, it becomes a good game system to play. But shit doesn't need a lot of, you gotta spend, I hope you enjoy going into the guts of the system and really reverse engineering it to make a viable character who's interesting. Because if you just slapdash, you are crap. But it's potential that if you are willing to put the work to go, I want to be interesting, I want to be creative, I want to have you need to have the goal of what you want me to play in your head before you sit down and make the character. Because if you don't have an image in your head, you're not going to make a character that's interesting or even viable. You have to it wants to. It is a powerful game that needs you to know what the fuck you're doing before you walk in.
Okay.
And if you go in and go, I want to be a boring fighter who's boring, 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 and I'm just general issue boring, boring, boring. There's a way to play that character, and you walk your way through it, and they tell you how to make. I want to play a D&D fighter. I want to play a Pathfinder fighter who just is a Pathfinder fighter. Just follow the rules, choose your shit, done. But if you want to play something creative, holy fuck, does it let you do it? I mean, I played just for fun. I made a third level character who was goddamn Doc Ock. I was playing a tech priest from 40K as a third level character. I could do it. I played a character who could I played a different character who could literally, who's again, this is a fourth level character fifth level character who was able to pretty much play Portal, like the game Portal. I was able to. My powers were teleportation and gateways. I was able to. I could literally throw people. Like, man, I don't like that. I don't like that person. Boom, and have them 300 feet in the air on top of a tree, going, "That's where I think you belong," and have them like out of the fight. It's a fun system. You can do insanity. It is a great game to play, to take Pathfinder and make it actually fun. But you need to know what you're doing before you walk into it, or you will not do anything at all.
Okay. I didn't realize these were the guys that did the City of Seven Seraphs.
Yeah, but like I said, once Spheres of Intrigue comes out, it will be an actually functional game because it won't just simply be fight magic.
You're talking about Spheres of Guile, I assume, right?
Yeah. Sorry,
Sorry.
It's been a few months since I've looked at it, and when I last played it, they were just barely playtesting it, and I haven't looked at it in months because that GM pissed me the fuck off. Bad, really bad, and
They don't have the character sheet set up yet, from what I'm seeing.
Nope. So it's a lot of figure it out. A lot of it's figure it out, and it's rough, but the potential there to play some good, to somehow make D20 not crap.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I will look at this again because I'm pulling from different ideas, but I have majority of my stuff already set in stone that I want to do. The Bard class, I'm wanting to rework what I've got because I like the idea of a jack of all trades. Jack of all trades don't really have to quote unquote train much, but like at the same time they're a different class. They're not like rogues. They're not clerics. They're a jack of all trades.
Yep.
And so they're one, they're always learning, and two, they do require their time to do downtime stuff. So that's the other thing.
That'll be a lot of fun. But like I said, I like the potential in your system. I really do. But like I said, Spheres of Power, the people who do the Sphere system are doing a decent job too for theirs. And mine would, if I was making a game, it would. I think there would be more work. Like, wow, the character section is so small, and then like, why is there an engineering document at the back of it going, oh, because I want you to be able to, because I want you to be able to build giant robots, spaceships, airships, and trains on top of, as well as ballistas, tanks, and crafting and enchanting rules. But the magic and character section is so small. Yeah, I know.
That's
just
quite okay.
Just admit that you can play BattleTech. Shut the
God, we're gonna get out of here. Everybody,
Yeah.
thank you for the 7 to 10 of you that were here the whole time.
Thank
We
you.
really appreciate the time you spent with us. I hope that we gave you something to think about, and if there was something to be shared, I hope you did. If you get the chance, go ahead, drop a few comments for us. We'll read them aloud next time, and be more than happy to discuss further on some of the musings of Kai on our next episode. Next episode for this is going to be the 29th of July, 9
We'll see
p.m.
y'all in 2 weeks then.
Thank you, everybody, and we will see you soon.
Have a good night, everybody.